Hello and welcome everybody to the Facebook Gaming Creator Games Battle of Heroes. It is the national finals we're having tonight. I am Black and Blue, with me, Asarai. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. Can't wait to see the finals today of the PUBG Mobile for the Creator Games Battle of Heroes. Super interested, excited, and ecstatic to see what our duos have in store for us.
Yes, now today is the Creator Games, and it will be the national level, the national finals for the Philippines here. Creator Games, once again, is the first inaugural online tournament organized by Facebook Gaming. Over 400 different Facebook Gaming creators from all across 8 different countries are going to be playing 3 different games. Today we're going to have PUBG Mobile, but there is also Arena of Valor and Mobile Legends Bang Bang, so do be sure to check that out. Now, this tournament series spans for 6 weeks, from the 20th of June to the 26th of July. We are now in week number 4, of course, and so for PUBG Mobile, we're going to have 6 countries participating. That is going to be the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, and Vietnam. Now, as today is the last round for the maps of PUBG Mobile here in the Philippines, this is the last chance for these teams to rack up some points and get ahead on the leaderboard. So happening at the same time, the other countries are also having the same competition. The Philippines and Taiwan, how we're going to be doing this, they're going to be doing duos. And so we're going to show you guys the regional bracket in just a second here. So the Philippines and Taiwan are going to be doing duos for the national level, while in Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, for the Philippines, and the same thing happening over in Taiwan, will join forces to become the #1 squad to represent their country and battle it out in the regional grand finals. Of course, only one duo will be named the national champions. Whoever gets the top spot here will be the national champions, but the top 2 duos will fight off and represent their home countries here for the Philippines or Taiwan. And you can see here the regional bracket that is empty for now, but we're going to have that filled up after this week, as you know, the teams finally get their points in. And well, in the case for the Philippines, we have 8 duos gunning for the top 2 slot here. Will be Team Top Guns, will be Team Guys, Team the Beauties, WaSec, DD, NRX, Aether, or Remy Bay. We're going to cut over, I believe, to the team so you guys can see what is happening over here. The bracket, the scores right now, and, well, firmly in the lead. You guys can see there, Team Aether, a few points behind Team NRX and Team WaSec. Following suit, Team Top Guns, Team DD, Team Remy Bay, Team the Beauties, and Team Potato Guys. At the very end, of course, they still have lots of chances today. These 3 maps that we're going to be playing soon are the last chance for these teams to get themselves into the top 2 slots.
So next up, let's just check out the schedule for our particular finals today. We're not gonna see any variation because I'd like that Facebook just wanted to keep us with these 3 particular maps that we already have. That being Vikendi at 6:30 p.m., 7:30 p.m. it's gonna be Miramar, and 8:30 p.m. which is Erangel. Now, Black and Blue, you asked this to me before the stream started, and I kind of wanted to ask you, what do you think is the impact of these maps to these duos, if any? If not, I just wanted to hear your thoughts about it.
I mean, like, Miramar and Erangel, they are the largest maps. They're technically both 8 by 8 kilometers wide, but the difference is Miramar has less cover. There's lots of open fields, that you can see, lots of long sightlines. Vikendi, a snow map, is the only map where there's footprints in play, and there's also snowmobiles, and so that is something to look out for. I don't think necessarily the map will play too much a factor into this this match now, as well, all these teams are, we've seen from the previous weeks, pretty capable of adapting and necessarily switching up their style into the maps that come into here. When the circles close, it doesn't matter where it closes, these teams are ready to adapt and to flex and to make the necessary adjustments to try and bring home that chicken dinner. So those are the 3 maps. Once again, Vikendi to cool it off, Miramar to heat things up, and Erangel to bring us home. Now we're going to cut over into the teams, I believe, so you guys can see who exactly we have here, we're going to have Team Aether. That is Zempro Gaming and Aether Esports, with their team captain being Zempro. Team NRX, their team captain Dan Fox, and Papa B, he's going to be substituting in for Like an AA. Now, Like an AA played the first week, but for the remainder of this tournament, I believe Papa B is going to be bringing the Bs to the knees. And so, Team NRX, that will be their duo. Team Potato Guys, the Spud squad here on Trisha Potato and Potato Chuck, with the former being their team captain. Team Remy Bay to follow it up here with Isa Bacon and Remy TV. Isa Bacon being their team captain. Team DD here now, ready to go. Pow Pow Esports and Double Republic. Let's see if they can bring it, with Pow Pow being their captain. Team WaSec. Now, these guys are very formidable. I believe they were at number 3, so they do have a good chance of catching up to Team NRX here. Watusi rather, TV, and WaSec Republic, with Watusi being their team captain. Team The Beauties next, and they're very aptly named here, Darwell. Team captain Eliza and Drell TV to follow up. And last but not the least, Team Top Guns, also a very formidable duo, with U Gaming being their team captain and Tisai as his second-hand partner.
Yeah, so if I may, I just wanted to tell again to our viewers out there how the point system will work for this. When you saw already all the points, all the brackets, all the formats, as well as the participating duos right now. But again, the point system, since this is a Battle Royale game, will be split up into 2 categories, 2 criteria, namely number of kills and placements. So, again, like I was telling you guys, we just got an update. We'll tell all you about it later. You get yourself placement points. So first place will be 20 points, and then so on and so forth. So if you're second place, 19, third place, 18, and again, like I said, so on and so forth. And of course, 1 kill equals 1 point. That means that there's a lot of emphasis on being able to get the good placement, as well as more emphasis on getting kills, because it's not an 80-player server anymore. We're playing at 16-player servers, so there's a big scarcity in terms of the points that you can get with those kills. And definitely, if these duos who are scraping at the bottom of the barrel want to climb back up, they need to get every amount or every advantage that they can get, especially against NRX and Aether.
Yes, guys, for more information, visit the official Facebook gaming page or visit the official tournament website at fb.gg/creatorgames2020. Now, if you guys want to watch the streams for the other countries that are on the
Okay. So,
or tournaments,
seems like
and then
okay, there you go. All right. So it seems like Black and Blue has left, temporarily left the building here. But don't worry, guys. It's all gonna be good in the hood. He was. Oh, he's back. Oh, okay, he's back. It's okay. You know what? We're all happy right now. We're all just waiting for the games to unravel. We're thankful that Black and Blue is still here with us. So hopefully we're able to push through. And again, big shout outs to Facebook Gaming for making this all possible. And I will actually thank them later on when we come back on camera. Later on, Black and Blue, when we get our cameras on, so we can show our awesome outfits in front of the cam. But yeah.
Yes, these jerseys, I really love the color, of course, blue. I know both of us are quite big fans of this patch, this color, as if it might not be obvious. But map to try and get the points and get themselves into those top.
Okay, Black and Blue, thanks a lot for that. But yeah, I definitely agree. There's going to be a lot of adjustments that all of our duos really have to do in order for them to be able to climb back at that ladder. It's really a tall ladder, because going back into the points that we just saw earlier when the stream started, Aether and NRX are racking it up 96 and 82. And then the next one is WaSec and Top Guns, who only have 56 and 51 points. Now, the big thing here is people might say that WaSec are a contender up against NRX and Aether, but just looking at the points themselves, I think Top Guns also has a pretty good chance to get back into this because they are the third top in terms of the kills. So Aether have 34 kills, NRX has 24, and Top Guns has 7. They've been pretty aggressive as much as they can. I think the only reason why Top Guns hasn't gotten more kills is that Aether and NRX always beat them to the punch. But if Top Guns can find other duos during these 3 maps, maybe they can claw their way back. But something that also kind of struggle with is the placement itself, but we'll see how they kind of adapt to that. Now, everyone else is fair game here. Just wanted to also kind of put a bit of a spotlight for Remy Bay because they did some pretty cheeky strategy here where they just kind of, at one point, I believe that was Vikendi, they just stayed on one area, no weapons, no nothing, just for the fun of it, and it kind of worked. They went 3rd place, if I'm not mistaken, on Vikendi. They got slightly higher as well on Miramar. On Erangel, it didn't work anymore because Erangel just doesn't allow you to do that, but it kind of worked for them. They clawed a little bit back in terms of the points, and they racked up with like 43.
I mean, there's lots of strategies to try and make this happen, and Team Remy Bay seems to employ the stealth option. If there's like a pacifist run, if there's a all violent run, seems like for Remy Bay, stealth is the way. And so, before anything else, guys, I just want to flex these awesome, amazing Facebook Gaming jerseys sent to us by Facebook Gaming. Thank you guys so much for sending this to us. Of course, all the players are participating here in our. They're wearing the same exact jerseys too, so thank you, Facebook Gaming, for that. And I like to see some. I like this. I like the uniformity that we have coming up here, and so lots of things and games to be excited for. I'm curious to see if Remy Bay are going to continue to employ that same stealth option, if that's part of the strategy still that they're going to bring out in map number 1 and 2 of last week. That was Vikendi and Miramar, specifically. They did that. Map number 3, of course, Erangel. It didn't really work, so they started to pull out the weapons but it got them decently far. It got them almost, I think, to the 3rd place even, I think, on the second map rather. And so in this case, the first map. That was the first map, Vikendi. In this case, we'll see if they're going to do it again on Vikendi. Perhaps it works a bit better on Vikendi compared to like Erangel or especially Miramar, because Miramar is very open. In Vikendi, there's lots of forests everywhere, lots more buildings to hide in as compared to Miramar. Erangel is a bit of both, and so it might not be the best option, but for Vikendi at least, I'm interested to see if they're going to do the exact same thing. Like, the only weapon I even remember Remy TV specifically having in that case was a frying pan, and it brought him decently far, all things considered.
Yeah, and I don't know what they're gonna they're gonna do that again, or try to at least get some utility. Because if you're just gonna go butt naked and roam around the maps of PUBG, it's not really gonna be too good. Because again, something that you have to be worried about is that zone that just closes in. The more the zone becomes, or the more the microwave, the blue zone becomes bigger in the map, the more painful it gets. So I think they need to at least try to find some utility to work with. And also, aside from that, I'm pretty sure the other teams were watching, and that would just mean that they know that if Remy Bay or Team Remy Bay do this, there's a chance that they might do it again on this week, on this finals day, and people might just try to find them and get some easy 2 points. So I don't know what Remy Bay will try to go for this, but I think that I don't want to say it's silly strategy, but that risky strategy might become riskier today. So, for those fans of Remy Bay, maybe you got to give them a little bit of tips and tricks, maybe to try to give them more ideas on how they can possibly win perhaps maybe on the rotations, on what they have, where they have to go in Vikendi, Miramar, etc., etc. But yeah, it's always looking forward to see what Remy Bay has in store because they've been a pretty entertaining team to watch, nonetheless.
I mean, it is a bit of a silly strategy, but it's not dumb. It's not wrong because it gets results. It works. It's gotten them far. So we're gonna see if they're gonna employ that once again. You talking about the microwave is a good point. Good thing to point out too, because we've seen more than a few teams go down to the microwave, to the circle closing in on them, and something last week was perhaps the pacing of the teams that are coming into play here. Perhaps there is something that they might want to look at. If they can't employ the vehicles, then they have to get Oscar Mike. They gotta get moving out earlier and on foot then, if not going to employ the vehicles into their strategy. Now, you see teams like Team Aether especially employ vehicles a lot. They're always on the move in vehicles. Other teams, not as much so. We see like Team DD, they have hopped into a vehicle here and now and then, but typically they continue on foot. Same with Team WaSec and the rest of most of the other teams, but at the same case, we've seen Team DD and Team Potato Guys also fall to the circle closing in on them. So perhaps the pacing of how they want to proceed on foot or on vehicle is something that they have to look back on, considering the last few weeks. If that's something that they think like, okay, this is catching us out in the open. This is something that has been kind of stopping us from proceeding further into the standings. Let's look at that, and I do believe that's what they should have done, and they're probably doing. And if they look back at the VODs, then they're going to know exactly what happened. In that case, I hope to see a bit of an adjustment here in the pacing so we can get more firefights in the end game, so we have less players going down due to the microwave, because it's always unfortunate whenever you see it happening. Sometimes, it just comes down to chance. Like, even if you're hauling your character at full speed, sometimes you just can't make it. The circle does not close in your favor. But in this case, there are ways to minimize that, of course, I guess, with vehicles and with trying to be more mobile, trying to stay in the circle as much as possible, even before it starts closing on in you. You can play it safely that way, but of course, it doesn't always end up that way, as you might get caught out in the open. There might be a team watching the flank, and you trying to cross in an open field might just get while it might be the fastest route into the circle, it might be a bit too unsafe, and typically when people gamble on that, they've been caught out in the open, as we saw. Like, especially on, I think the first week that we had it was on Erangel, where Team NRX, they got 10 frags that game, and a lot of those are with people trying to cross out into the open because they held a very important position where most players would be crossing into to get themselves safely into the circle. They held that, and they got like 2 teams because of that. And so that is a very important point that I think these teams should check out coming into this game.
Yeah. So to add to that, we were kind of talking about how it's very dangerous, that you have to actually always be prepared about how the zone is going to be closing in. I think a lot of players already know this, but some might not. If you actually look at how the zone reacts, right, and you see the next zone already, you're at the safe zone, you're looking at that circle. The farther the blue is away from the safe zone, the next safe zone, that big gap means that it travels faster, and the smaller gap on the top or on the other side, where the microwave is slightly closer to the safe zone, travels very slowly. So some teams actually go to that little gap right there because they can play longer and not rotate too early, because the zone doesn't travel as fast. And some of the teams, they do like to ride the microwave, so to speak, where they try to kind of go with how the microwave closes with the zone. And because of how that kind of works out, some other teams really like to go for the slower one, just because at least have more options and they can use their position for longer till the next zone appears. So I don't know if that make any sense, but hopefully it did.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's definitely like a valid point to wanting to kind of ride that wave, trying to kind of surf the circle in, as it's visual disturbance. It's hard for some teams to like well, it's not necessarily like the most difficult thing, but it is still like a bit of interference between the vision. Like if you're crossing an open field and if you're riding that circle, like right where the line is, it makes it just that bit harder to get spotted out in the open when you're trying to cross an open field. And so there's definitely some points of merit to, that philosophy of trying to surf the circle back in when it closes off. Of course, it comes with its cons. Like if you wait a bit, if you kind of hesitate, then you're going to be caught in the circle. And if you progress a bit too further, then you might be a bit too far when the circle eventually closes to the next stage of the map. But of course, guys, once again, do check out these wonderful, fancy, I gotta save up a bit for this, Facebook gaming jerseys. Check that stuff out. I love, wrong side, this patch over here. Pretty sweet. And do not forget, all the other teams are playing in this Facebook Gaming Creator Games Battle of Heroes are wearing the same exact same jerseys, to be grammatically correct. And yeah, so I like it. The uniformity, and of course, the blue, my color, if it's not quite obvious there in the name somewhere down there. I'm sure Asterai too. I know, based on all his like graphics on his page and everything, he's a fan of the color blue too.
Yeah. Probably check my Facebook page out, just to see it.
I just check you out in general, bro.
Oh. Okay.
But
so go ahead.
Nothing. I'll just well, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. So right now, again, just reiterating to what we've seen in the brackets here. Okay, we're just gonna show you something, guys, real quick. And while we're showing you something, guys, on your screens right now, I wanted to talk about once again the points. Aether is at 96 points already with 34 kills. So they've been just really getting everything on the board here. NRX has kind of done the same thing, but on a lesser scale with 82 points and 24 kills. So it's gonna be a tough sell. What's going to happen here is NRX has a legitimate chance at overtaking Aether, but Aether have to kind of be placed and have a low amount of kills. So like they need to be 4th or 5th place in order for NRX to swoop over them. But I think the bigger questions here would be the 3 teams who are stuck at the 50-point mark, which is WaSec at 56 points, Top Guns at 51 points. Yeah, we're just going to show you the standings, guys, so you can see what I'm talking about here. And this is going to be very important because obviously this is where all the cards are laid down. So again, we're looking at Team WaSec, Top Guns, DD, all at that 50-point mark. And you need at least 50 points to climb back. A single game, even with all the kills given to you, won't give that much. It's only going to be a maximum of 34 points, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like the percentage of WaSec, Top Guns, and DD to be able to get to 2nd or 1st place is very slim, but it's doable. And the way to do that is pretty obvious to every one of us. And if it's not, it's basically put NRX and Aether always at the bottom of the pack. The thing is that we've seen in the past 3 weekends that we've been casting this is that the other teams haven't really gone as aggressive as we'd like to. So if they want to come back into this one, if they want to represent the Philippines in the regional finals for the creator games, they have to put their foot down and try to take out Aether and NRX. So what do you think about that, Black and Blue?
I mean, of course, 50 points is a lot, and you can only get a maximum of 34 if you get an ace. If you pretty much clear the entire server and then obviously get 1st place. So that's going to be quite a bit. You need to get like a whole game in your pocket and then a 2nd game as well. You have to score pretty high if you want to catch up. And that's not the easiest thing to do. They might have to like clear 2 whole servers even to get that done. But of course, it makes for a great underdog story if it does eventually come out. So for Team WaSec and Team Top Guns, there is quite a story here for them to progress on. But it is quite a interesting one if it does happen. Of course, once you, as you
Yeah.
said, not impossible, just quite difficult. I mean, Team Aether and NRX have
Yeah.
really taken the advantage of those two first weekends and the weekends prior to really get themselves high up on the scoreboard and really distance themselves and separate themselves from the rest of the duos here. But of course, once again, yes, not impossible, but just quite difficult. Of course, if there's anybody who's capable of doing it, it is our Facebook gaming creators. And so I'd like to see what happens up in these next three maps. Of course, we're going to start it off on Vikendi, and let's break things down a bit about the map Vikendi as we're waiting for the match to start up. So Vikendi, as I said a while ago, it is the only map where there's footprints in the snow. That is, well, it usually stays for about 10 minutes, give or so, more or less. 10 minutes, it stays there for 10 minutes, and so you can play off that information, although that 10 minutes might just be a bit too difficult to work with because you might not know that person could have been long gone by the time you get there. Mm-hmm. Of course, it is a snow map, and so it is the only map where it has snowmobiles, obviously, as you wouldn't need snowmobiles in the desert nor in the grassy plain. That helps you traverse up the steep hills that Vikendi tends to have, which are typically clustered with a bunch of trees, the forests cutting off sight lines from high above. And, well, while most vehicles have no problem going through flat, snowy terrain, up hills it might just lose a bit of traction, and that's where the snowmobiles come into play. The snow bikes and the rest of the vehicles that are geared and outed for taking on the inhabitable terrain of the snow here on Vikendi is the only map that has that. Of course, there are also very strong positions to be held on Vikendi, and it's not necessarily all about the loot when it comes to, dropping. I mean, with there only being 16 players in our creator games here for the national level, that leaves a lot of loot to go around safely, and so you don't necessarily need to drop rather into the biggest town which has the most loot, because there's only two of you anyway in your duo, and you might just come up across a duo that you might not want to have to face early on in the game. So you don't have to necessarily go for the high drop points. So what can you go for? Okay, there are very high density loot points in Vikendi. One of them being a place like Volnov. That is a very high loot point, like high density loot point. There's also Goroka, but really these places, they don't necessarily have the best positioning strategically. Like Goroka, while it has high loot, it is like it's sort of in a valley, in a dip, or if this is the town of Goroka, right beside it, you have hills all around, and you can get circled in that. You can have a team sneak up on you, get the high ground, and that might not work out well. So what might be a good position in terms of the location strategically? Well, Castle is a good one for short measure. It's only 3 ways in the castle, 3 big bridges and roads. That's very easy to see if somebody's crossing into your terrain, unless they try to swim. And with it being on top of an island plateau, it gives you lots of sight lines as well, 360-degree vision all around, and that might just help your cause if you decide to play around Castle. Now, just to the east of it, about a 700 meters to it even, or maybe a kilometer away, is the cement factory, which is also a pretty good spot. Now, it's not the best in terms of cover, but it is surrounded with a wall of huge rocks and mountainous terrain that is pretty hard to scale, so they can't necessarily use it against you. Of course, there are still places where you can, jump bunny hop your way up those rocks, mountain climbing style, but for the most part, they serve to protect you, so that the only real, it's almost covers off like the entirety of the east, the south, and the west side of the cement factory. So you only really have to worry about sort of like a 90-degree space, which is a bit to the northeast. And so that's not something you necessarily have to worry about anymore by being circled around. So cement factory and castle are two great places to drop in on Vikendi. Now for Miramar, do you have any insights about how Miramar might be played out here, Asarai?
For Miramar, I mean, you've talked about a lot of the structures in Vikendi being that there's going to be a lot of highly contested areas rather than highly contested loot, because again, it's only going to be 16 players overall, and they're not going to be running out of any materials whatsoever, right? Equipment, so to speak. So it's definitely going to be on the positioning. I think, like, looking around at this one, it's obviously it's all going to be with how the zone predicts. And Miramar, it's not really the buildings per se that will be your best friend. Buildings are few and far in between in Miramar. Granted, there's like really big areas such as Los Leones and El Pozo, but the thing that's going to be very paramount, and you've seen it used by a couple of duos here, such as NRX and Aether, is that they like to bring a whole plethora of vehicles with them. And the reason being is that these vehicles can turn into structures that can defend you. So if you're gonna go to like these open fields with just maybe some verticality with the mountains or the hills, which is bound to happen because this is Miramar, you like to bring those vehicles for extra cover. And what some of these players do is, once it's gonna be the final circle already, just go to an area, pop the tires real quick, explode the vehicles already, because you don't want something right beside you where you're trying to take cover, right? And just use it as a permanent area of defense. If all hell breaks loose, at least you have something to put your back against, and that is those vehicles that are very much scattered all over Miramar. And I think that's like one of the reasons why it's so nice to play PUBG, is that you get a lot of these kind of meta strategies that differ between map to map. Like you said, in Vikendi, focusing on structures is very important, and I agree with that. And I think it's just because of how, I mean, maybe shorter the distance of travel is from structures to structures, so that you're not really out in the open for far too long, and there's more cover in Vikendi as well as in Erangel. But in Miramar, where everything is just a little bit of up and down, there's not really a lot of trees, there's not really a lot of rocks to cover your pathway, vehicles are gonna be your best friend.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, as you said, in Vikendi Erangel, you have these structures, buildings, whatnot, man-made things to help buy you some cover, not just concealment, but actual hard cover that you can hide behind and use in a firefight. In Miramar, it's the exact opposite. It's all opposite. It's all open terrain. There isn't exactly any of these structures to necessarily buy you some cover. And so, what do you do if you don't have cover? You use concealment. What do you do if you don't have concealment? Which, by the way, would be like smokes and sort of the like. And if you don't have concealment, then you have to be on the move. You have to be mobile, be active, trying to relocate. And vehicles, as you said, is one of the most important things to secure in Miramar. And not only securing it, but something that we saw Aether do, especially on Miramar, is when they find a new vehicle that they deem is a better choice to swap into. For example, if their current vehicle is low on gas or low on armor, low on health, or just in general a lower tier vehicle, they might opt to switch to another one. And when they do, they're going to destroy their previous vehicle, shoot out the tires, make sure it is inoperable for anybody who might come across it. And in the end, that small investment into shooting out the tires, making that vehicle inoperable, does also play into the factor of some of the teams that do get caught out in the open in the circle, because they're not able to find enough vehicles to try and get them back in. We're going to cut, guys, now into the highlights from the previous games, from the previous weeks, so you guys can see exactly what happened and how those games started to play out, the best moments of those coming up here. And you can see this was Billy just last week. Yes, these are all from last week. As you can see there, U Gaming, they do find Drell TV, and Co. They were one of the first teams to go down. That is the Beauties in map number 1, they were one of the first teams to go down. So Eliza and Drell TV, unfortunately, not standing too long there in map number 1. But of course, they played better in the map number 2 and map number 3. Here is a firefight, and we can see though from Tisai, from Top Guns, and they're doing quite a bit. But of course, NRX very formidable in the fight, and this is on Miramar here. This fight, this was between Team Aether and Team NRX, and this came down to the wire. I remember with Team Aether playing very aggressively. They got caught out in the open with their vehicles trying to flank. The circle was closing down on them too, and NRX came out on that one on top, and they did take map number 2 there.
Yeah, this one on the other hand, this is one of the things that I was kind of a little bit worried about that can still happen even though we have only a 16-player server, is that some duos might land in the same area. And when that happens, all hell will break loose at the very start, because you know, when you play a game such as this and you always see other duos just go on other compounds, right? You're like, it's gonna be a very chill start. At least we can, you know, get our loot up, get all of our equipment first before we get into a firefight. But what if you're not prepared to have somebody right beside you? And that is exactly what happened to team the Spuds with the potatoes. Hang on, Trisha Potato and the Potato Chuck, the Potato guys. There you go. And they went side by side with none other than Aether. That's a really, really tall task for them to kind of tackle with. They did not even know that Aether was right beside them. Aether could hear them just like running up and down some structures. They went up to one that's way too close to Aether. They got shut down, and that's something that you always have to also try to respect when you're going to be going here as a duo. You cannot always think that going in one compound, like let's say if you're in Razak, that nobody else will go there. Somebody will like to challenge you, and most likely those are our top fraggers, namely Aether, NRX, WaSec, Top Guns, and Team DD, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe that's Team DD.
I mean, something I noticed too with how Aether likes to play is they employ very fast, like kind of blitzkrieg, like lightning fast attack with a pincer move into the opposing team. So let's say they see a duo. Let's see duo B. You know, not to be specific. They see enemy duo. If it's either Zen Pro or Aether Esports who makes the first contact, the other teammate on the Aether squad, the Aether duo, is going to immediately try to wrap around to the flank of the opposing team, and they play and try and pincer them together, try and get them from two different angles to try and apply lots of pressure. And in that case, we're going to have map number 1 finally starting off now here in the Creator Games, the Battle of Heroes by Facebook Gaming, Vikendi. Let's get it off. It is the final chance here for the teams to get all the points that they can in the national level, as the top 2 duos, once again after the day, are going to be coming out to represent the Philippines. And they're going to be joining hand in hand to fight off the other countries and try and vie to be the grand champions here of Asia. But it seems like the drop here from You Gaming and Tisai are already quite close to, I believe that's Team WaSec. Yes, it is. They're really close to each other. We might see an early fight here, Darwell, and I don't know who's going to come out on top, but You Gaming, he's going to spray out with the Uzi. What you see is already very low. He's going to get downed. That is the opening frag we just dropped into the match here within the first 15 seconds. You Gaming gets the first frag. And that's going to leave WaSec Republic all alone here for Team WaSec.
And that is what I was telling you. The chance that you could drop in the same area is very possible. And it seems like it still is possible to get to run into somebody, because 3 duos have actually right beside each other. Desai is the only one to remain, I believe. Oh no, from WaSec Republic, I believe it's only gonna be CSJN to remain. That's gonna be a bit of a slap in the face. But Top Guns, like I said, if it's anybody who can actually start it, it's Top Guns. They got 7 kills, 3rd highest in the entire server, comparing it to the other ones. But who is this Duo 7? I didn't really see the name, but this has to be obviously somebody else.
I believe it's the Beauties.
Oh, it's the
Eliza was just down.
NRX, I think.
Oh, is it NRX? Really?
I mean,
it should be.
Name. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Well, Eliza went down.
In any case, Just you go ahead, Meg. You go ahead.
I think you're right. Exactly. Dan Fox. He's the last one left alone, so you called it right. Pubg immediately out of the game here, my man.
So the thing about that one is, again, it's very risky because once you drop onto a site and you don't have any loot yet, right? The big thing that you always have to be worried about is battle royale games still have that RNG kind of factor where you go into a building and yeah, it can be full of loot, but is it the right loot for that right moment? When you actually go into this into a house, you try to loot it, and maybe you're looking for a shotgun or a rifle, and what they give you is a pistol or maybe even just a melee weapon. That's not really going to be something good to start up, and maybe that's the reason how Papa B as well as U Gaming got caught out in that particular moment.
Yeah, well, Aether already geared up here, as you can see. They're going to be sticking together, and for now, not going to find any engagements coming their way. Decked out in level 2 here, Zempro, and don't really have to worry about any engagements for now. Seems like they're going to be free to loot, and that is also, of course, because of their good choice of where to land. You're going to have this place all entirely to themselves, and you can expect them to move out once again in a vehicle. One per, if they can find and mount that there, to try and move fast. But as Dan Fox, he actually finds a frag on the U Gaming. With U Gaming going down, that's gonna put a dent here for Team Top Guns. So I believe it's only gonna be Tisai left now for U Gaming after Team Top Guns rather, as U Gaming does go down. I believe it's only gonna be Tisai left.
Actually, is this right? We only have 6 people alive?
No way. I believe that is Dan Fox, so that's for NRX. The 2 remaining members here for Zempro. I think the Beauties have been cleared out. Who else might it be? Remy Bay, obviously, they've been cleared out as well. I think Team WaSec is still in the game here.
Well, we have to kind of see the other members. Maybe you can get that tab screen out with the name of the players later on, just to see who's still alive and kicking. For the moment, we have 6 players alive and 4 teams overall. So that means that there are some duos here who only have 1 player left in their alive rather in their particular team. Obviously, that's not going to be Aether. So this means that Aether could actually be in a 2 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. This could actually be a real just easy game in the bag for them, so to speak. But we'll have to see how this kind of transpires, as we're seeing Aether himself just, get all of this pretty juicy loot in one of the areas in Vikendi.
I think it's a 2v2v1v1 right now, honestly. Oh, no, you're right. Actually, there's 4 teams up. Yeah, you are right. It's a 2v1 v1 v2. Yes, I do believe so, because then you're only 4 teams. So that's quite interesting to see. Hopefully we can cut into that to see what exactly is happening, as right now we're still viewing what Team Aether are up to. He's found the vehicle for himself here in Zenpro, the snowmobile coming into play. Nice skin to deck that out, and you can see as still the entirety here is entirely ripe for the taking here on towards Podvosto rather. Quite a tongue twister. All these non-typical names. But here in Podvosto, Zempro and the rest of his duo here for Aether. Very ripe for the taking, and I don't believe anybody is within even a kilometer of the fight. Here is the second duo, a Double Republic and Brand Pow Pow. That is going to be for Team DD. They are the only other duo that is alive. I believe for NRX, you're going to have Dan Fox still alive, remaining. He's going to be the sole member for Dan Fox and the only other player in the game. I'm actually not sure who that might be.
yeah, for now, we can't really put so much in this. And I mean that by we're just going to have to wait and see when these guys are gonna go up against each other. We might after that big spurt at the beginning of the game, we might see a little bit of a calm breath here before we kick into the storm once again, because the zone is still pretty chunky, and a lot of these players haven't really gotten the vehicles to be able to traverse the terrain a little bit quicker. So this is just going to be another marathon, so to speak. And this is one of the remaining players. I believe this is from Team WaSec, CSJN. I have to confirm the name again of this player, but I believe he is from Team WaSec. Did lose. Was it WaSec Republic that lost his life? I think it was.
Yeah.
So
it was his teammate. It was WaSec P who went down first. So I'm not sure if WaSec Republic went down, but I think, yeah, this is WaSec Republic. This is him. He is using the name CSJN for now, as his teammate did go down 1-2 CTV. It's gonna be WaSec, the last one here. So to just update you guys once again, last remaining players here in our game is Team Aether. Their duo is still up with Zenpro and Aether Esports. Team NRX with Dan Fox, the sole player here for them. Team WaSec with WaSec Republic here, as you can see on the camera, and Team DD with Pow Esports and Adobo Republic. Still, those are the only two duos alive, Team DD and Team Aether. But you can see here, Team WaSec Republic rather. He's choosing to move his way on foot, and I don't believe he is anywhere close to finding any engagements either himself.
Now, another thing these remaining players will be trying to do, aside from rotating, dodging the microwave and whatnot, is possibly getting themselves some level 3 armor. And if we had like statistics in this particular creator games, who has possibly picked up the most amount of level 3 armor, which is also in conjunction with getting the care package, it's always been Aether. NRX hasn't even come close, and Aether's been the one who always gets that, and that definitely increases their chance of winning. And we'll have to see if anybody else will try to do the same thing, but it's really crucial for some of these teams to get that. Deny that from Aether and kind of boost their chances of getting the time to kill higher on their end, rather than the time to kill higher on the side of somebody like Aether.
Yeah, I mean, the circle here is going to begin to close on Dan Fox, and he's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, as the dangers on the red zone is right to his east. And you can see here, a double Republic and Grand Pow for Team DD. They're also caught out still in the circle. They have secured themselves with snowmobile. They're going to be cutting their way through the snow and through these hills to try and take a direct beeline into the zone to hopefully stop the bleeding out. Fortunately for them, and for WaSec rather, to start out in the open too. The circle at this stage of the map isn't too damaging for their health, and they're going to be able to quickly sustain themselves and get themselves back into the restricted area. Double Republic Grand Pow facing a bit of terrain difficulty, but they do have the perfect vehicle for the job. The aforementioned snowmobiles, exactly what you want in this situation, to try and cut into the restricted zone. As you can see here, as the circle is closing, it's only Team Aether who's already secured themselves in the circle. Dan Fox is so far behind WaSec here for WaSec Republic. So Dan Fox almost a kilometer away, maybe 700 meters. He might spot out WaSec here as he is directly to the south, but for now, Grand Pow are finally going to get themselves in the zone, in the safe zone, away from the restricted area, the circle. The microwave is going to be put on hold for now with Zenpro. They do have a good position here. They are in between the rest of these teams, yes, but they're secured themselves safely inside the zone before anybody else, and that's going to give them a head start already, as they already do tend to move fast. That head start is going to help their cause out even just that more. And Team Aether, if they can secure this kill, these frags rather, on Team DD, the only sole duo alive, then it might just be they might just be well on the way to securing map number 1.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like Aether put themselves in that middle position just so that they can see more on the remaining part of the map that's not inside the blue zone, and this will just allow them to see anybody transitioning and trying to get into the safe zone themselves, and this will probably allow Aether to hunt these stragglers out in the open. Now the big punch in the cojones is definitely Dan Fox, who is still at least from what we saw a while ago, was just kind of, just running around using his own feet, and that's not really going to help him. We did also see in his inventory he did not have a lot of healing items to kind of top him off. So if he actually survives the zone, he'll have to start looting some more areas here. But that becomes dangerous because, once again, the zone or the safe zone is much smaller, and the chances of him running into any other squad that's probably healthier than he is more. And what also that would mean is that his chances of being able to do 2v1s more efficiently, more effectively, is cut down possibly by half. So he has to be very careful with this one. And if you're a fan of NRX, they're in a really tough pickle here, guys, especially up against a full-blown Aether Gaming. Although Dan Fox actually spots out the one perfectly executed. I was kind of worried for this man, but you gotta take note, he's NRX. He has a lot of experience in shooter games, and he takes out the other solo remaining in this game, and he picks him up some nice loot for that. So good job for Dan Fox.
Yeah, Dan Fox was directly south of WaSec there, trying to get back into the circle, and eventually caught up to WaSec. He's going to pop an energy drink here. It's the right idea to do, so he can proceed on foot. He does not want to take the snowmobile, I believe. Oh, no, he is. He's gonna. I think that's the right idea to do, considering that Team Aether have been employing the same exact strategy of using these vehicles to quickly cut into the circle. What was that? But anywho, Dan Fox finally taking a snowmobile here for himself. Catches up to WaSec Republic, and at least that's one more member to not worry about here for Dan Fox. He is going to continue on this solely by himself, the only remaining solo player, as Team DD and Team Aether, their duos are still alive and kicking here.
Well, now we're just gonna have to play the waiting game. They kind of put themselves in this woodstock or logs area. Nobody is right there, and I feel like, I thought they were just gonna try to, roam around a little bit, maybe bait out a couple of opponents to try to shoot them and then duel, but it seems like they're just gonna try to play around here. A couple of shots have been popped somewhere afar from Team DD, but I don't think anybody spotted each other. I think those were just some kind of warning shots to tell them that they're near, and they're maybe trying to bait opponents to go to them. At least for Aether, there is a nice kind of, I have the high ground Obi-Wan Kenobi things happening for Team DD. But if they try to go downhill here, there's still a very sizable, very defendable fortress that Aether Gaming or Team Aether have kind of put themselves into. It's going to be very difficult to try to push up. And I don't know if Team DD will try to bite the apple and bite the bullet and just try to go in, or will they just, huddle up into their own neat little cabin here in the woods and just kind of wait to storm out, figuratively and literally. But here we go.
The engagement already happening at Double Republic. He does spot out Xin Xiao here as Team Aether. They're about to lose a man if Xin Xiao is not careful. A Double Republic letting the shots ring out. He does have the ACOG in his hands, and the G36 is a great weapon to fight at that range. Zempro is going to drive right past him. He's going to spot out where a Double Republic is, and Xin Xiao finally returning fire here towards a Double Republic. A Double Republic, not much cover, but he can hide behind the crest of his hill here. Zempro very aggressive, still not jumping down from the car. He hasn't dismounted yet. The Double Republic, he does have the UV in hand, but he might just get run over. And he does! Zempro, he just runs him straight over! A Double Republic goes down, and that's going to lead to pow-pow the sole remaining member here. Is he going to win this fight? No, he is not. And that's going to be Team Aether securing the duo that they needed to find. They're going to be coming up against a 2v1 here in their favor. If Dan Fox cannot get in time to punish them while they loot, and I don't believe he's going to be able to, as Aether win that fight off of a bit of a destruction derby coming in from Zempro.
When you're going to be going up against somebody who is Mad Maxing it, you know, just using their vehicle and saying, fear me, bloodbag, you know, you don't stay out in the open. But granted, I think Team DD at that point didn't really have any trees or rocks to defend against the smashing of the vehicles here. And now that we're just going to be left in a 2v1, and I don't think Dan Fox is anywhere near a compound, these two guys are not even going to exit their vehicles. I am betting it, Black and Blue, that they're just going to look for him, chase him down, and run him over, and that's going to be it.
Well, they're right to the east of Dan Fox here, and Dan Fox has to have heard these vehicles drive right by. Seems like they're going to be going the opposite way, and for now, Dan Fox is safe. But I do believe that there's some merit to your prediction there. You might just turn this into Mad Max and continue just running over people, bumper cars style, instead of exactly trying to go for the firefights. It's a 2v1, and they know that. They have vehicles in their favor as well. Of course, not the most armored of vehicles, as they're both in plainly fitted sedans. And for Dan Fox, he might just have his work cut out for him, but he is geared to the teeth. 416 in hand. Another one in his back. On his back, rather. Of course, he's only at level 2 armor, helmet, and backpack. And, well, I don't think he needs as much anyway. He got lots of healing items to help him out in his cause, and a bunch of energy drinks to boot. He's going to play this safely, and I think that is the way you kind of want to progress on with this. If he can separate the engagements here, and this is true for almost any shooter out there, you always want to take the 1v1s instead of trying to go 2v1, as a 2v1 is never going to work out, well, never at least going to favor your position. It might work out due to some heroics, but in the end, if you can split them, take the 1v1 and get that first down immediately and quickly, so you only have to focus on the second teammate, then it might just work out for Dan Fox here. Once they discover his position, what he has to do is be proactive. He cannot let them circle on him and pincer him, because he's going to get double peeked quite easily. They're always going to try and peek him both at the same time when they know it's a 2v1. So what is Dan Fox going to do when they do find him? Once again, be proactive. Try and find that first down before Team Aether even have an idea of what to do. They have to get that first down immediately, so he can only then have to bother his attention towards trying to fight the sole remaining member. But for now, Dan Fox, he's going to play the waiting game as well. He is very patient, and patience is a virtue.
Well, he decided to get into an area where he can make the 2v1 possible. He's smart enough to know that out in the open, it's not really going to work out for him. So he just decided to, hey, you know what? I'm just going to find myself a nice compound here. Lots of cover. So, because the thing with PUBG and PUBG Mobile in general is you can't play this like any other, you know, maybe like other shooter where you can hit a headshot, knock down an opponent, and then spray transfer. There are things such as the level 3 armor that can deter that. And again, I go back to the time to kill, which basically means the amount of time you have to shoot somebody to knock them down or, you know, defeat them. And it doesn't work like that in PUBG. In PUBG, you have to be always peeking through these angles, peeking through these corners, using the environment around you to block the bullets, because you can't tank it yourself. And yeah, exactly what you said. He can't go for an out in the open 2v1. So what he's trying to do here is get as much information, get that possible high ground, and hope that he can separate these two without doing too much work, and hope that the environment around him can do that work for him. For the meantime, Aether haven't really sniffed out where Dan Fox is, So for this particular point in time, it's just gonna be them looking for where Dan Fox is, and Dan Fox hoping that he can surprise them out of nowhere. Because again, these two are ready. They're not, they're not single and ready to mingle, but they're a duo and they're ready to be. I don't know any.
They're a duo and they're ready to get it down. Dan Fox, he is ready. His trap is sprung. Well, at least it's ready to be sprung, at least. And you can see here exactly what I was talking about. Zempro and Aether. They're going to split up and they're going to try and play a pincer attack on this small town that they believe Dan Fox might be hiding in. I think Zempro is going to try and rotate around. He knows that there's only one place that they could be, and Dan Fox, I believe, let some shots out that might just alert him to his position, and the vehicles are closing in on him. He has to be vigilant here. He is going to try and cheese the third-person camera to spot out any targets that might be coming his way. Dan Fox, ooh, great movement here to get himself up on the rooftop of this, and he's going to be letting the shots ring out. Now they know where he is. He's going to drop down. That's going to do just a bit of damage, but he's going to survive that. I don't know if Xin Xiao necessarily spotted that out, but Zenpro is quick on the flank to try and pincer him in here, and Dan Fox, it is up on him. His back is against the wall, but he's going to try and trap them in there with him instead of being the prey. He's going to go on the offense and be the predator. He has to watch out, though, as Zenpro is overlooking his position right now.
I mean, this is very smart from Dan Fox. He popped a shot onto the field, and they'd actually be looking towards him. But the thing now is, Zenpro is here, and he's not deaf. He can hear the footsteps, and he knows that Dan Fox is right there beside him. He's waiting for it, chucks a couple of nades in to contain Dan Fox while he waits for his teammate, possibly. Now this is a 2v1. Now this is the part where we didn't really want to see Dan Fox in. If you're a support of NRX, this is going to be very difficult, especially now that there's not a lot of cover, and these smokes are blotting out the vision of Dan Fox while also kind of changing the perspective here that Dan Fox is out in the open. I'm pretty sure it's just a bait. That actually could be true. They're popping a shot up. He's not seeing them just yet, but the thing is, they're very quick onto that onto their control, and they can definitely see a 180 shot. Now Dan Fox has already unleashed the beast, but he's not taking down anybody just yet. Aether did go down to like 25 HP. Dan Fox is here popping the vehicle. Maybe he can knock out Zenpro, and that could be the best case scenario for him, but he has not done any of the sort just yet. He's cooking the grenade. Let's see if he can get that at least one knockout. One knockout is all that he needs, and Dan Fox is trying to do it black and blue. You take it.
Nades out here, dropping the mortars, the heavy artillery on his position. He's popping smokes as well to buy him some cover to try and get the flank here on the eastern side. I believe that's where he's trying to push. No, never mind. He's actually going to run straight at him, and Zempro, he does let the shot ring out. He's going to go down as Aether take map number 1 here over the rest of the teams. Dan Fox, 3 kills to his name, and he got all of that while being alone. And so, congratulations to him as well, but of course, biggest props to Team Aether for coming out once again on top here and taking map number 1 in their favor. Team Aether and Team NRX are still well on their way to representing the Philippines here when it comes to the regional stage, regional finals. And so, just that was a very exciting end stage based on just how the engagements were so drawn out. Like, anybody could have gone down at any time, but because of the sustain, because of the cover being used, actually quite drawn out and very tense. Now, Dan Fox, that was his first frag that you saw there on the WaSec. Well, actually, that was his third, correct me. Zempro just running over here. Adobo and Brent Papa is going to eventually go down. That was their first dual find for Team Aether. As you can see, the nades being chucked out. Perhaps if Dan Fox threw those nades out a few seconds earlier, he could have blown up the car that Xin Xiao was hiding behind and taken him down fully. But in this case, he was the one who got found in the end of it, and just props once again to Team Aether.
Yeah, I don't think there was much Dan Fox could do there. I mean, I felt like he did everything right. He baited some shots. He kind of baited Aether to try to look towards him down on that town, and then he kind of gunned for the flank. The big thing was he really didn't get any knockout whatsoever. So I believe we're just going to go for a quick break before we get into that second game, Black and Blue.
Yes, guys, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Do not go anywhere. We'll see you guys with map number 2.
Hi guys, this is Alodia.
Ini adalah Jessica Jelly.
Polisi ganteng gamer.
Battle of Heroes.
Hero.
นี่คือทัวร์นาเมนต์แบบออนไลน์
You have been waiting for.
聚集了最精锐的 yang paling terbuka.
Facebook Creator.
จากทั่วเอเชียแปซิฟิก
The stage is set.
Jangan si Wan Hong.
tuntun kami yang dewek mình
From June 20
hanggang July 26.
2020.
chỉ có tại
Facebook Gaming.
Facebook game. Facebook gaming.
Facebook Gaming.
Facebook Gaming.
Facebook Gaming
Hello and welcome back to the Facebook Gaming Creator Games Battle of Heroes, the national finals now for PUBG Mobile. I am Black and Blue, and once again with me, my man Aserai. How are you doing after the break?
I love how you're just like facial expressions, like, yeah, man, how you doing?
I'm intense.
Yeah, I get it. I'm also pretty intense right now. I'm doing all right. Like after that break, it gave me a little bit of perspective on what has happened. Anyways, let's just check out the post-match standings already to see how many points NRX and Aether have kind of racked up here. So, my man, you can take it away if you want.
Well, here are the updated points here for our Philippines tournament bracket. Team Aether firmly in the lead, 20 points over the next team, which will be Team NRX at 123. Look at this. Team WaSec, Team Top GUNZ, they are both tied at 66, just 2 points below them. Team DD with Remy Bay, the Beauties, and Potato Guys following suit. Potato Guys not doing too well here. The Spud Squad bringing potatoes for frags. It's actually the Beauties who have potatoes for frags. They literally have eggs. 0 frags, but they are not last place, so that's something to take into consideration. They've been getting a bit further here than Team Potato Guys, so what they're doing seems to be at least a bit better. Team Remy Bay, unfortunately, I don't believe that they were able to employ the same sneaky beaky stealthy strategies there on Vikendi. We're going to see if they're going to pull it out once again here on Miramar. But for Team Aether and Team NRX very firmly in the lead for now. We're going to show you guys the schedule, the maps coming up today. We're going to have, map 1 was Vikendi, Miramar, to come up very shortly soon here as our second map to spice things up in the heat of the desert. Of course, we're going to have map number 3 as Erangel to bring us all home to be the final map here for our national level for the national finals here at PUBG Mobile Facebook Gaming Creator Games Battle of Heroes. Before anything else, guys, we would once again like to shout out these sick, and by sick you mean really cool, Facebook Gaming jerseys sent to us by Facebook Gaming. Their camera focus, yes. These are also worn by every single player who is currently playing in our tournament right now. You guys are going to see that later on when we do have an interview coming in after the third map. We're going to have that for you guys so we can talk to one of the players that was in our national level here. You're going to see they're going to be wearing the same exact thing. They're going to be wearing the same jerseys. Moving on, next week and the weekend after that, which will also be the regional finals, same thing is going to happen. Jerseys, uniformity all throughout, the blueness. I love, wrong side. This patch is really doing wonders for me, I think.
Yeah, the patch is pretty good. I like how it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off, and that's just the quality that Facebook has really put into these jerseys. They're really nice, and hopefully we can maybe give some to our viewers. It would be pretty awesome, but maybe on the next one, guys, just keep your eyes open. Facebook's pretty awesome on that regard, so just keep those eyes open, and don't forget to follow the social medias for Facebook and Facebook Gaming. Visit the official Facebook Gaming page, just on Facebook. Just search Facebook Gaming, you'll find it. Or the official tournament website at fpg/creatorgames2020.
Yeah, I mean, to speak of the quality, not even the jerseys. I'm assuming we all had the same packaging. Even the packaging of this, my dude, it was pretty... I don't know if you noticed, but the packaging was pretty high quality, too. I was like, this is pretty good packaging for a shirt, for a jersey. If you guys are curious what that looks like, I posted it on my page there, linked down below. I mean, at Black and Blue thing, at Black and Blue PH. I posted the picture of the packaging, too, and when I first received it, it was like... Is it really just a jersey in this? It was like super like some metallic foil bubble wrap type of thing with some nice stickers all around, and I was like, yeah, pretty good quality, especially much to be expected from Facebook Gaming, and they definitely do deliver. But guys, do not forget, before anything else, Once again, do visit the Facebook gaming page or the official tournament website at fb.gg/creatorgames. If you guys want to check out the other streams for the other countries, to click on the banner here for the Creator Games PUBG Mobile, and you're going to find the other streams for the other countries there. We're going to show you guys the duos that, once again, are participating here for the Philippines. Team Aether, they're firmly in the lead, followed by Team NRX, also second place. Pubg, once again, is going to be playing in the stead of like an AA, and so that's going to be Team NRX, Team Potato Guys, Team Remy Bay, Team DD, Team WaSec, Team The Beauties, Team Top Guns are going to be the last but not the least team here to round it off. I like how for Team The Beauties, it's not just Team Beauties, it's Team The Beauties. Very aptly named, very classy.
I mean, it just goes to show that it's not it's the. And you know, if it's they're kind of like the OGs, you know, they're the true beginner beauties, or the true starting beauties. And it goes to show for the big fans there of Eliza as well as Drell, you know, you got to be happy with how they named their duo. And you know, it is what it is.
I mean, I know there's a lot of fans of these two in the chat, so fans of any other duo here, Remy Bay, Potato Guys, NRX, Aether, WaSec, DD, and Team Top Guns, do put down in the comments below who you guys are rooting for, so we know exactly who has the biggest fan base here. Now, also, do not forget to like and share the stream to everybody, as this is the national finals for the Philippines here for PUBG Mobile, and this is the last time we're going to see some of these teams, as only two duos here are going to progress on to the regional finals, wherein the top two will form together to form a 4-man squad and vie it out to be crowned the grand champion of Asia.
Yeah, it's down to these final two maps, and I don't know, maybe we'll see something else happen for these other duos, but it might be a bit late, or might be too late. But you know what? I don't wanna say that just yet. I feel like there's still a chance, if ever. If again Aether and NRX go to the bottom of the pack here for the next two maps, there could still be a possibility for any of the 3 to 5th place teams to get and represent us for the Philippines in the regional finals coming in later this year. Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, the regional finals are going to take place next week and the week then after, and once again, only two duos are gonna form up to form a 4-man squad to progress on. Same thing is happening in Taiwan. For the other countries, they are going to be playing their qualifiers, their national qualifiers and finals in a 4-man format. So you're going to have 4 players per team, as opposed to here in Taiwan, I mean here in the Philippines and in Taiwan, where we're doing more of a duo format, which will then be put together to form a 4-man squad. Of course, there's only going to be one national champion, and whoever comes out of this national finals at the number 1 spot is going to be crowned the national champion. They're going to be crowned the chicken dinner, and even better, bragging rights. I'm sure that's what people are really after here.
Oh yeah, that's all about who will be our victor, and you know, whoever gets that first place definitely has the bragging rights. They can just say, "Hey guys, I'm the stronger. You know, better luck next time. Maybe at the next Creator Games you can beat me," and that just adds to the fun of it, you know. And hopefully we do see more of this happening. So don't you worry. In any case, again, the next map will be Miramar, and we were talking about this, you know, before the first map started, where Miramar is definitely going to be all about the vehicles as well, where you can use it as cover. Haven't really seen a lot of the teams even remotely touch a vehicle, so that might be a bit of a disadvantage to their own. but we'll see how that kind of works out. For the moment, you do see teams such as, again, Aether and NRX really just try to get those vehicles, get the positionings that they want, and use those to their benefit. A lot of these other teams really need to use those vehicles as well, because running on foot, it's good at the start, but I mean, it's not good later on when you could see your a lot of these duos engulfed in that microwave, and they're taking unnecessary damage. You really need to focus on getting those vehicles.
Yeah, especially here in Miramar, as you said, we were breaking down, what's the difference between the three maps that we have played, Vikendi, Miramar, and Erangel to close it off. And we pretty much both decided that with Vikendi, you got lots of structures to use as cover and concealment. In Miramar, not as much. And if you're standing on top of a hill, if you're cresting yourself, if you're giving away a silhouette, you can get spotted out from a kilometer away, and people can just take you down with a sniper rifle. And so, in this case, when you don't have cover, movement is what you kind of want to necessarily rely on. It's what you want to, bank your chances on. Stay mobile, keep active, keep proactive, keep moving. Otherwise, a circle and bullets might just come your way, and it might not just work out for the duos here that we have in our creator games. Now, in PUBG, for Miramar, we know it's very expansive, it's very open, right? But one thing that I think might not be looked at as much is the fact that the palette of the entire map is this very orangey type of palette, and it can be quite easy to lie down. Even I guess this is kind of a throwaway, because while it is open, lots of open fields, if you lie down and you're decked out in all grays and blacks and you're in the right sort of silhouette, you might just look like a random rock in the middle of the open desert, as it's quite tan. It's a very deserty map, it's very tan of a map. The other maps, of course, like Vikendi, you're super visible no matter what you do because of all the snow. Everything's backdropped against a white terrain. For Erangel, I think that would be the map where there's the most visual clutter in terms of there's grass everywhere, lots of greens. But for Miramar, it's open, but sometimes it might just be played against you. Yes, it will come in your favor because you can spot people out more, usually. But it might also turn out the other way, as then they could probably spot you out even easier too. And so you might see teams opting to go for scoped sights instead of taking the usually hollow or one times reflex, the other one time zoom sights. You might see them going for the optics that have a bit more of a zoom, a bit more vision to them in terms of fighting the medium and long range engagement. So taking the ACOGs, the 3.4 times zoom scopes of the sword, even the sniper rifles with an 8 times zoom, maybe a Kar 98 or something like that. Might see that come into play here when it comes to Miramar. And so, Miramar, it's not as densely populated in terms of loot as a map like Vikendi or Erangel, because, there's generally they all have the same amount of loot. But with Miramar, the places of interest, which are the towns rather, are quite spaced out, and in between them is typically just an empty open valley or empty field. So that means, in this case, not only is your loot density a priority for where you want to drop, but maybe even more so than Vikendi. You have to think of the position of it exactly strategically, because as we said, with 16 players only, there's enough loot to go around, period, right? No matter where you really go for. But at least with Vikendi, there's lots of, at least more than Miramar, there's lots of visual clutter to try and cross your way from town to town if you're going to proceed on foot. In Miramar, not as much, and so we're gonna have to see if teams can find a way around that factor coming to Miramar in map number 2.
Okay, so there's a lot of information to process, which you just kind of drop down. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of a lot of focus on getting the proper scopes. There's a lot of focus on maybe even using the palette of Miramar to be able to run through the desert. But of course, a moving object, even though it's well blended, can still be spotted, especially if there's no real cover to basically elude that visual that you see that somebody's moving. Aside from that, you know what? I just had like a really crazy idea. What if, since this is like the finals already, I kind of want to give it a little bit of a bang. Our creators just drop down onto one area, they only loot one thing, and then they meet in a circle and start ramming each other. Like if the thing that they loot is a car, that's fine. If they loot is a pan, they loot maybe a grenade, that's all good. And then just kind of like go in a legitimate ring and fight. I know there's like a stadium on one of the compounds in Miramar, so we could definitely make that happen. But I don't know if they'll do it. I kind of want to see that, Black and Blue. I want to see that happen. The true battle royale inside a ring, a small ring, and it's just whatever they pick up. Just one thing. What do you think?
I mean, well, what happened in map number 1 that we just saw a while ago on Vikendi was, as soon as they dropped down, we had fights within like 15 seconds of them touching the ground, and that made for a very exciting gameplay. Your idea could bring even more entertainment here to our Creator Games Battle of Heroes, and so I would definitely like to see that. I don't think anybody would even disagree. That would be quite something to see. We're gonna find out if any other sort of wayward or funky strats that we don't normally see in games are going to be pulled out once again. Remy Bay, they were quite creative with going for only frying pans last week. Let's see if any other team wants to try and necessarily pull out something for entertainment value, because the creators are definitely do have a humor of their own. But guys, we are finally ready to get into map number 2. Let's get it on. Miramar about to kick underway. Let's get into the game. All right, so the lobby is ready for now, and we're gonna finally get things going underway in less than a minute. But what can we expect here? Not what can we expect, but aside from what you just said, what is something else you think that you'd like to see here?
I mean, I'm just thinking about the entertaining ways that they can, give us a show here, which is get themselves vehicles straight up and just play, what's that game again? Twisted Metal on on Miramar. And it works, right? Because like this entire map feels like it's a Twisted Metal map, or maybe just a Mad Max map, so to speak. So our first, or rather our playing trajectory here will be from La Cabrera all the way up down to the west side of Puerto Paraíso. So this is basically a split in the middle. I like it very much because this basically kind of just allows our players here to spread out as much as they can and as much as they want. I want to see them go for what they did on map 1, but we might not see that. Now, looking at this one, it seems like the potato guys have started to evacuate the vehicle, and the other ones have started doing that, but in more of the middle of the map. So this will allow Trisha Potato as well as Potato Chuck to just go in, find something in the outskirts, and start working their way in, while the other ones have to kind of just spread out a little bit and not really face each other if we don't want any early action. Okay, now, aren't there gonna be anybody who actually drops near each other? I don't think so. Oh, there's a little bit of a split there from duo number 4. Can't see who this duo is. Oh, I believe it is gonna be WaSec Republic, Team WaSec rather, once again, and they're just maybe gonna go for a split style here. I don't really like it because it's just duo versus duo. and it might not be that impactful, so we'll just have to figure out what works. For the moment, we are spotting out Team Top Gun to spot themselves a pickup truck, and there you have it. So what do you think about this one? They're not going to go for any too aggressive play or style here, Black and Blue. It's just more of, again, the looting style that we've seen in the past couple of rounds. And Gaming doesn't want to ride with the side. He just wants to be in the back of the truck and, you know, emote a bit.
Yeah, a bit of a contemplation here coming in from them, but at least Team Top Gun's able to secure themselves a vehicle right from the get-go. Here for Jal TV and the Beauties, on Eliza, able to secure themselves weapons early on, and so if they find any engagement, at least they do have something to fight back with early on. It might help their favor, as they're already quite geared out in terms of weapons. All they have to really find more healing items, more utility, and more armor to try and help them progress on. I believe Trisha Potato is alone here. Doesn't seem like Potato Chuck has gotten into the game, so she's gonna stay alone for now, flying solo. She does have an AK and in her hands a Scar as well, both heavy hitting assault rifles, and that's gonna help out with the ranges that we find the engagements happening here in Miramar. Them typically being a medium range engagements. That's gonna help her cause out, because at range, the Scar and the AK don't have as much of a like damage drop off rather at range from the bullets that are being fired from the Scar and the AK, and so Watusi is going to be supported. His teammate is actually quite far from him. I don't see WaSec Republic anywhere near him, and so they're going to have to try and link up later on, but they are both in the game. You have to be mistaken. He does spot himself a vehicle that can be used, and that's going to help him out to try and close the gap. You can see here on the other side, I believe, did he AFK drop? I'm not sure, but he dropped quite far from his teammate here. This is WaSec. Yes, he is using a name such as CSJN, but do not be mistaken, that is WaSec Republic. His teammate Watusi there on quite a bit of a ways away, as the teams are going to still loot things out. I don't think rather we're going to have our first engagements too soon, and it seems like it's going to start to play out more typically as how we've seen the previous week's matches go, wherein we're only going to start to see the main firefights happen mid to late game. And so for now, all teams will be able to loot comfortably, which will mean that once they do come to the firefights, you'll be quite decked out and might just have some exciting gunplay coming to the game here. But the Double Republic, he's able to secure a vehicle for himself as well, and that's going to help him link up now with Brand Pow Pow.
We're seeing Bacon for the first time, I think. We haven't really seen her from the first map. I believe she was one of the earlier casualties from that previous round. But now coming into this one, it seems like the strategy for all of our participants here is to split up, because we haven't seen anybody actually be together in terms of as a duo. And I guess this kind of works. They're denying the possibility of a quick 2-0 from some of the more frag-heavy teams in this particular tournament. It could work, but what this also does is that it just spreads out everybody. And yeah, I think that's going to be the style that we're going to be looking at this Black and Blue. I'm kind of looking forward to how this works. We're just going to go for the mano-a-mano, the lone wolf solo play that we haven't really seen at all in this entire creator games, and I'm pretty excited for this one. What this also kind of does is, at least the loot is better, because even though, yeah, you're just two people and you can loot an entire compound pretty nifty, fine and dandy, you still split it up to 50-50, but with just one person, you get it 100-0, all to yourself, and maybe this is what some of these duos are wanting. I'm actually looking forward to that, and we'll see how it kind of pans out. But as I say that, we are spotting now NRX, Dan Fox, very near the vicinity of Papa B. And now I'm really kind of disappointed that we didn't see those early aggressive plays that we saw in Miramar, but this will just allow these teams to start looting up and have something in terms of firepower later on as they spot more opponents.
Well, at least here for Dan Fox and Papa B, they're going to be able to play together, and NRX are a very formidable team when they do so. Papa B went down quite early into map number 1 on Vikendi a while ago, and so that was immediately taken out of consideration as he was not able to compete further into the later stages and even the mid stage of Vikendi. And so here is Miramar. Might see a bit of an opposite, but Isa Bacon is actually very close, right across the road. I do believe that is it Team DD? Right across them. I believe so. If she looks at it right, no, it's actually Zempro. It's actually Aether. She might come across, and she has to be careful here. Of course, it is Zempro, so she's not going to get pincered in, but taking the 1v1 fight against such a formidable opponent here, she might kind of want to use the element of surprise if she can get that in her way. She's actually going to be moving towards the opposite direction of Zempro Gaming here, and I think for now, if she wants to stay longer in the game, that might be the right idea to do, as quick on their heels. If he does find that engagement from Zempro, Zinchao will be quick to wrap in and help his teammate out. And so Isa Bacon is going to yeet out of here. Look for another place to play.
He's gonna try to get away from all of that, all of this kerfuffle that could have happened, all of that the danger that was right beside her. I don't know that she knew that Zenpro was just right beside her, but she did at least get the right decision into rotating away from that one, not checking the other parts of the area, and just kind of wanted to, well, go to another spot where she knows that nobody is there, or at least it's easily spot opponents. Now, going back into where Zenpro was, yeah, you already said it's Drell TV, one from the Beauties is here in this area. Like her armor, she actually has a 3-3 armor-wise. That's pretty good. I'm not sure if Zenpro has the same. But yeah, this could actually be working in the favor of a Drell here if you can get the one up against, or get the jump against Zenpro.
Well, she does have the level 3 armor, so that's going to help her out, even without pants or a proper top. At least she has the Kevlar and the helmet to absorb some of the impact from those bullets. She's making her way, actually, towards the direction of Team Aether here, and I don't think this is a fight she would want to take if she knew what she was walking into. Now Drell, oh no, Zinchao was looking her way, almost spots her out. He knows there's a vehicle there, and as the shots do ring out, that's going to alert, I believe, Drell to some presence being shown here. She does not know who exactly it is, of course, is here towards her position, but for now, she knows that there might be some people nearby. What do you see? He still has not linked up with his teammate, who is WaSec Republic. So, still trying to go for the loot game. He does have a UMP in his hands. Not the best weapon at range, but up close when trying to clear these buildings out, it is quite formidable. And so maybe that's why he's deciding to stick to it. He does have the scar on his back, and we're going to probably switch out to that if he takes these longer mid-range fights. And for now, no engagements happening yet, and these teams are free to loot, but as Isa Bacon moved away from the position of Aether, it seems like it was Eliza to take her place.
This is kind of funny. Aether, for the first time, picked up a slow vehicle for them. The scoop, the mystery machine, as well as the, I don't know what to call that. It's like a 4x4 truck or something. They might want to get something more. Aether is just kind of like roaming around at the red zone here. Gotta be careful though. That red zone, you think that it's not gonna hit you, but when you say it's not gonna hit you, it does. It's kind of like the red zone curse, and it's starting to drop down. Either gotta reposition already because you kind of think the things are getting popped, and maybe this is what actually puts Aether on their downfall, which is the red zone. But he's already out of it.
Oh.
He's all right. And yeah, WaSec Republic is just rolling around in the dirt with this vehicle. A lot of the squads or the duos here finding themselves some nice set of wheels for the moment. And now, Team WaSec right beside, I believe this is Team Double D or Team DD. We could have ourselves a little bit of initial action here, black and blue, as they're very near one another.
Oh, they're practically on top of each other here. Bren Pow Pow, he's going to come to exactly where WaSec is waiting to try and loot things out, and I think WaSec Republic might just find the free frag here. As Bren Pow Pow is driving past him, I don't know if he spotted out WaSec Republic inside that building. I don't believe so. I see he's still continuing to progress on. Will he dismount? He has not so far. He's taken that 4x4 quite uphill. I mean, it is made for that, but going through this type of terrain is going to slow him down just a bit. I don't know if Bren Pow Pow is, well, he's finally dismounted, and I believe he was just trying to take the safest route that he knew to try and link up with his teammate. But as Team DD and Team Top Guns here have both finally relinked with each other, we might just find a duo coming in here. You can see there, actually, Team WaSec and Team DD, they're not the only people here, as Team Top Guns over the hill might just hear these shots out and might chime into third party into this. But the Double Republic, he's already taken damage. Now, I believe that is from WaSec Republic. WaSec, he spots him out. He knows exactly where he is. Shots in return, and he does just the same amount of damage towards WaSec Republic. They're both down to half, pretty much, in Double Republic. He has a nade in hand. He's going to chuck it his way. He's going to heal himself up. He does have an ample amount of healing items here, bandages and first aid kits, to try and take him back up to full health and continue to sustain further into this fight. Now, as the nades are being chucked out, you see a Bren Pow Pow, he's getting aggressive. He's going to swing to the right here towards their southeast, and he's going to go wide. I think they can probably hear his footsteps by now, so he has to be careful with the vector that he's taking. A Double Republic, he's going to try and shoulder peek this, and he's going to get caught out in the open here, WaSec Republic, as they do pincer him down. As WaSec goes down, that's going to be a 2v1 engagement now that WaTuC has to win over Team DD.
He's gonna try maybe save WaSec Republic, but it's not gonna happen. He's way too far, can't really do too much now, and that's just a big victory for Team DD here. Now, if they try to loot this, maybe he can use the body as some sort of bait for the moment, but he doesn't spot them out, and he's just gonna look for a vehicle and, well, decide to leave his comrade, not looking for any form of retribution or any kind. And he's just gonna play to live to fight for another day. We still at least have that possibility that Team WaSec can do this for the next time. But if you can see the items of WaTuC, he's not really looking too hot as well. And well, he's doing a little bit of drunk driving. He's lost his friend, and he just couldn't cope with the pain. So he's just putting it all out on his vehicle. Now looking for this other one, the big cojones. NRX and Aether have spotted out each other. Zenpro's already low in terms of HP, but he is skyrocketing up on top of heaven. He's gonna get that first aid kit, heal himself back up. So this is pretty smart from him, and he's opening and closing the door to get that information. And this is kind of just the ring around the rosy. Standoff spot out of one man. He gets it. This is NRX looking for a kill, and this is what we're looking for. If they can beat Aether right now, they can sweep this straight up. It doesn't have to be anything as well. It just has to be that it's still a 2v1 situation, but Zenpro is already healed up. He has a grenade. He's trying to bait out a couple of shots. This 2v1, he is playing this perfectly. He's trying to get his teammate right back up. 7 seconds on that board. Do they even know that he's there? I don't think they do, and this could be going back into that 2 versus 2 here, black and blue.
Well, Zenpro, they were able to get they were down rather, but he does get pulled back up, and so that's going to help his cause out. Dan Fox, he is starting to bleed out, and Papa B, not in the position to try and help him out, as they are currently split in half in this engagement now. Dan Fox, it does seem like he's just going to be left for dry and to bleed out. This Papa TV is going to try and win this fight 2v1. Now Zempro, he's taking a great position here to support his teammate. If Papa B does swing out, he has the Overwatch. He's got the Eagle Eye. Now, watching from above, if anything happens outside, Zinchao knows where Papa B is going to be pushing out. And so, Zinchao, being very mobile, being very active, trying to jump spot through these windows instead of taking any fights. But Trisha Potato is actually there to their direct west. And so, Zinchao might just get shot in the back if Trisha Potato decides to chime in on this fight. He's going to throw Molotov out. He has the right idea of where he is. Just a floor down, though, would have been right. And so Trisha Potato knows that there's a fight coming in here. Will she decide to try and dip her fingers into what is currently happening? She knows, okay, that vehicle is entirely out of place. That would not normally be there. I mean, someone use that to get there in the first place. Trisha Potato knows that, okay, there's engagements happening to her south. She has to heal up and try and see what she can do to further survive into this game. Papa B, seems like for now, Aether are going to let him go, as he was able to successfully hide his way out of that engagement. Seems like Papa B's trying to bait a reaction out of the opposing teams here, considering he is spamming against this wall.
So now, I mean, it's like, I don't know what he's doing for the moment. Maybe he didn't know, maybe he does know. He's hearing somebody right outside him driving around, but that is already a potato. I don't know if probably he's going to be able to find any vehicles here, but he is just like wasting a lot of his bullets. I believe that is the last of his clip on the SKS. So nothing much is going to happen there. Trisha Potato is on out of there, so she's done pretty smart. She didn't want to go through all of that confusion, but she actually took the fact and is taking the buggy in pretty good condition. Doesn't have any damage on it just yet, and they're going to be on transition now, leaving us with 11 teams alive, or 11 players alive, and there's still the full 8 duos. So all of the collaterals that we've had, so the entire game has been only -1 for a bunch of these duos, so still everything is on the board. Nobody has been knocked out yet for the placement here, and that means that there's still a chance that somebody can put, well, maybe Aether out of commission. At some point, it was supposed to be NRX, but Papa B not being with Dan Fox in that 2v1 really hurt the chances of NRX there, and they paid the ultimate price. He was a bit too late to the rotate, and NRX was, or rather Aether was able to bring themselves back up to 2-man rather than solo. And now looking into the next safe zone here, Black and Blue, it's going to be a bit near onto Junkyard, and Team Double D should be getting themselves a nice bit of loot with that care package. Trisha Potato does spot out the other one, and Papa B, I think, has given up already, and NRX are out of this second map, so that will put them as bottom is almost the last spot, so that's pretty big of a hit to NRX.
This is the first time NRX have finished this low all throughout the national level here on all these 3-4 weeks that we've been playing, and so quite interesting to see. Even with all that action, they are only the first duo to be removed here in Miramar on map number 2, and so still 7 other duos still alive. Of course, some of them only a sole man to represent what is happening, man or woman, to represent their duo, and so you can see your Team DD, they're in the red zone. Now, there isn't much cover that the warehouse can provide, but for now, they're going to be saved from it. Although, of course, sometimes those explosions do find their way in through the openings, the gaps in the buildings, and so if you're close to a door, that might not necessarily pan out well for them, but it seems like they're going to survive this for now, as Trisha Potato is directly to their north here. About half a click away, even less now, with this vehicle. They might just find each other. She's making quite a bit of noise driving through this sand dunes with this desert buggy, and so she's actually gonna make her way away from it. But as the circle is already starting to get smaller and smaller, we're gonna have all these members up. We still have 10 players in our game. We're gonna be close to each other, compact, as Zempro. He's able to find the frag here on the Bren Pow Pow. Now Double Republic knows something is awry. Trishy Potato, she does get found by Zinchao. Zinchao watching the flank. She crested herself on top of that hill, and the silhouette gave her away. As Zinchao, great eyes to watch out for the flank. A Double Republic, he knows his teammate just went down. He knows he's against Aether now, as he does spot him out on the kill feed, so he knows he has to be proactive. He cannot let Aether just capitalize on this and pincer him down on his position. So he has to be on the move proactively. He knows where Aether is for now, and if he can find the first frag on Zinchao here, who is on foot, then he could potentially probably try and take a fight with Zempro Gaming and perhaps come out on top. But Zempro has positioned himself for victory here, as he's taken the high ground. Not much cover, but he's been spotted out now by Double Republic. He can back up and let these shots ring, but as soon as he does so, the other teammate here for Aether are going to know exactly where he is. In which case, once he opens fire, he has to try and get that down immediately so he can start to move his attention towards any other threats that might be coming his way.
I want to also point out that Zen Pro is playing with a crossbow. So he's looking to win this one with that arrow from the crossbow. There is even a care package dropping near the vicinity, so they can maybe hunt that down if either one of these two members of Team Aether have not gotten their level 3 anythings yet. Double Republic, even though he's playing a little bit cautious here, that's the word we're going to be using. He's actually pretty decked out for the most part. A good amount of heals, as well as an M249 and level 3 everything. So he's looking pretty good. He's just kind of saving, investing for the future later on, because I think right now he's very much afraid to start trying to pick fights, as well as try to pick up anything in terms of items. So the ones that he has right as of this moment is actually looking pretty decent, pretty good actually. You can see that Team Aether has kind of just not really cared about anything else, as they are seeing that red smoke. They know the goodies on the other side of the rainbow, and they want to just pick this up. Maybe somebody will think the same, and they can find the opponents that they want to. But looking onto the other side of the map, you do see Team Aether trying to use the 4x4 capabilities of his pickup truck, and it seems like it's able to go forward. It's not a Raptor, it's a Ford.
That's a pretty good traction that they got there on that 4x4 to go up such a steep hill and continue to accelerate on, but we'll see a loot box here. Rock music blasting in the background, and it might just be apt for what Zinchao is planning to do here. Now Zempro going for the figurative gold in the pot at the end of the rainbow. As he said, no leprechauns waiting, and so he's gonna reap all that he can what he sowed there, and what he sowed was a good position to try and take this care package all for himself. That's exactly what he's gonna do. As is a bacon, not gonna stop him from doing so. Zinchao on the prowl, and for him, luckily, his 4x4 has got great traction going up these steep hills. Oh,
It's not yet lost any
almost.
whatsoever. Yeah, it's the biggest just right there.
Well, she's actually blending in quite well, considering what she's got on her. She's got the sort of like a desert Marpat camo on her helmet, and for the rest, quite tan as well, and she does blend quite well into that single bush. Of course, no cover, but she does have some concealment, and she might want to back up a bit and perhaps use that a bit better. She can hear what's happening just a few meters away. Few dozen meters away, as the Double Republic is able to find a frag in the Drell TV. That brings it down to 7 people left. 7 players here. 7 gaming creators. Oh, they don't see Is a Bacon. Is a Bacon is right in front of Zinchao, and he has no idea. He's right there.
She's done it. Oh wait, no, she's popped out. Oh, she got to antsy. They know where she is now. I don't think she's gonna be able to do much here, and they just like surround her, flock her like a bunch of vultures, and pick her out. Ooh, indeed. Bacon didn't know what hit her there, and that'll leave us with 4 teams to remain on this one, Black and Blue. And you were right, she wasn't spotted, but I think at some point she just wanted to get over with, whether it's her taking out one or it's them taking her out. It just had to happen.
I think you were right in that she got a bit too antsy, and so she was, the pressure was on her. She was kind of wondering, like, are they gonna spot me? Are they not? They are looking right at me, and she decided that, if anybody's gonna take the first shot, I guess it's gonna be me. Like now, unfortunately, it doesn't work out in her favor. But U Gaming shots towards the Double Republic. He almost goes down, but U Gaming not able to confirm the kill. He's gonna get taken down to quite low himself. He has to back away and find some cover to try and heal himself back up, but Desai is going to capitalize on Double Republic, letting himself up, and Desai taking down to very low. A Double Republic almost even won that, flicking to her even when he was very quite low. Desai, though, fortunately, enough healing items to get herself back into this one. Watusi just to her south. And be careful here, U Gaming. He did give away his position earlier, but as Zinchao finds Desai, Team Aether, the only duo left alive here. U Gaming, he's going to be quite alone. Zenfro even tries to run him over once again, but Mad Max, it is the right map to do so, but he's not able to land it, as Zenshao does confirm the kill. It is now going to be Watusi here for WaSec Republic versus Aether, and once again, Aether in a 2v1 position, favoring them with a high ground. If the circle closes in on the position here of Aether, then Watusi is going to be forced to run up to them, with them having the high ground advantage across the open. And I don't know if that's going to work out too well for Watusi. We're going to see how the play area is going to close on in here after it does. And so the circle getting smaller, time is ticking. There's only one frag to be found left here for Aether, for Watusi. He needs to get a double kill to try and pull this one back.
Do that? It's a very tall task. Zone is closing in. They're inside the vehicle already, and they're just going for a joyride here. This is the kind of style that Aether have flown or have carved out for themselves, and it's working really well. Now, there's only a finite amount of areas that Watusi can hide here, and Zen Pro as well as Aether is just kind of closing in left and right. It's getting sandwiched here, and this is not the good kind of sandwich you want to be in. This is the bad kind of sandwich. He got spotted out. He doesn't even know where to flick out there, and he is just getting pincered in. They want to hit him with the bow here. Zenpro really wants to get it, and Watusi is just popping a couple of shots, and he is just getting overwhelmed by the pan of destiny, and that will be once again Aether, Team Aether, 7 kills, first place in the second map.
He just got cooked there at the end, quite figuratively and almost literally, as he went down to the frying pan. There's Zinshao, and Team Aether once again very dominant, finding most of the frags to be found here in map number 2 on Miramar. Great job once again by Aether, and they are very much so. I mean, it's hard to deny they're quite securing themselves to the higher spots here of the leaderboard. Now let's go into the highlights, guys, so you can see what happened during that previous game. This is one of the earlier team fights that we had here with Team DD coming up against WaSec Republic, of course, a double Republic, and Brand Pow Pow were initially able to get the down onto WaSec, and Watusi was able to escape that fight and progress on into the top 3 last remaining players at the end. Dan Fox does get the frag there. Papa BTV eventually did give up. Well, Dan Fox got the down, but not able to finally confirm the kill onto Aether. It looked a bit dicey there for Aether, but fortunately for them, they're able to win it out in the end, and they're going to be progressing on with them still firmly in the top spot. This was the most entertaining portion of the map for me, with Izza Bacon waiting there in the bush.
I mean, it was fantastic to watch that. I would have I was really rooting for her to be able to kind of, just make it work straight up. But it didn't really happen. What to see, you're seeing here, it's just pretty much oppression what Team Aether is doing to what to see at that point. Like, he was trying to aim a lot and it was kind of working, but they were just kind of slapping him around and they were just having fun at the end of it. And even though they were just doing all of that, they racked up 7 kills and the first place placement on the second map, and it's all gonna be down to this third map. But I feel like Black and Blue, with all of what we've seen, we might have our 2 representatives already, but I don't know.
Yeah, last chance for the teams to get their points up and in, but guys, that will happen after we come back from our break. We'll be back to you guys in about 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with map number 3.
Hi guys, this is Alodia.
Mình là Disipera 6 Gaming.
Ini adalah Jessica Jelly.
Polisi ganteng gamer.
Battle of
Heroes,
นี่คือทัวร์นาเมนต์แบบออนไลน์
you have been waiting for.
聚集了最精锐的 yang paling terbuka.
Facebook Creator
จากทั่วเอเชียแปซิฟิก
The stage is set.
Jangan-jangan si Wan Hong.
Kawan jatuh dan saksi.
Tuntun kami sang dewek mình.
From June 20,
hanggang July 26.
2020.
Chỉ có tại
Facebook Gaming.
Facebook game. Facebook gaming.
Facebook Gaming.
Facebook Gaming.
แฟนบุ๊กเกมมิ่ง
Hello guys, welcome back. I am Black and Blue, with me, my man Asarai, and you guys are tuning in to the Facebook Gaming Creator Games Battle of Heroes Pubg Mobile. It is going to be the last map that we have coming in today, which will be the last map for the national level in the first place. So we are at the national finals now, and this is the very last chance for these teams to get the points in to hopefully find themselves at the top two to push through and represent the Philippines in the regional finals. We're going to show you guys the standings right now for all the teams after map number 2, coming to map number 3. Asarai, well, away.
Yeah, so again, it's no surprise Team Aether is leading the pack here with 180 total points. NRX is falling behind by 50 points, and I think we can tell by the simple math. I'll just keep going. WaSec with 80, Top GUNZ with 77, Team Double D with 74, Remy Bay with 53, the Beauties with 46, and Potato Guys at last with 40. But damn, Black and Blue, 180 points in this entire tournament. That is insane.
Just insane plays. They have gotten 44 frags, with NRX getting 30, but it is safe to say that Team Aether and NRX both have the lion's share of all the kills that went out throughout these weeks during the national level. And man, Team Aether are well on their way to representing the Philippines, along with another duo. Whoever ends up at second place at the end of this will be the team that will probably join Team Aether, if anybody, to represent the Philippines. Of course, still, even if you're at the very bottom of the ladder, yeah, technically you don't have enough points to make it to the top, but nobody wants to finish last, and perhaps if they finish a bit higher, they can use it as bragging points, as I know a lot of these Facebook gaming creators are personal friends in real life, and so that will definitely come into play there. Now we're going to be coming into map number 3, guys, Erangel. And so, the classic, the tried and true, I don't think there's a better map to finish off the national finals here. That's, I almost said both of your names at the same time. Dasarai. Darwell, Asarai, my man. I don't think there's a better map to cap things off here at the national finals level. It is, you know, the map we started on. Everybody learned PUBG on Erangel, and now we're gonna end things on Erangel.
Yeah, it's kind of like the back to the beginning, you know, back to the roots of PUBG when it started, and definitely the best place to end our national finals. Now, the thing that you got to take note again with Erangel is very similar to Vikendi, where you have a lot of these places in Erangel that have really good loot, pretty easy to defend, and the transition from compound to compound isn't really that difficult, whether you're on vehicle or foot. Now, there is, of course, exception to these, especially, I believe that was bridge, and we did see some pretty incredible bridge plays coming out from these players before, so we'll see if they can do it once again. But I'm just looking forward to how they're going to be trying to maybe sweep the rug underneath Aether. Not maybe in the points, but at least, you know, give it to them before this night is over. You know, it's kind of just saying to Aether that we're not pushovers. You can't just do this to us, and we got something in store for you. I'm looking at NRX and what is that, but maybe, just maybe, some creative duos here might do something pretty wacky, such as Remy Bay, and you know, kind of surprises later on. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yes, but before anything, guys, once again, we'd like to shout out Facebook Gaming for sending us these really cool jerseys, as you can see here. Ta-da! This patch, once again, I keep forgetting which side it's on. Very much, there's a lot for me. Very comfy, very sweet. Thank you guys, Facebook Gaming, for sending us over these jerseys. Every single player, every single Facebook Gaming creator that you guys see in our tournament right now on stream are wearing the exact same thing. You guys are going to find that out for yourselves when we cut into the interview after here, our third and final map on Erangel. And so, man, coming to Erangel, what can we expect from it? It is the last map of this, and if anything, it's closer a bit in terms of how do I say this? How it's constructed to Vikendi. Of course, it's not a snow map. There's no snow coming into play, but you can almost think of it as like if it was Vikendi's less wintry cousin, almost. It is quite similar in how it is made, and while Vikendi is technically smaller, that's by 2 square kilometers smaller. Vikendi is 6 by 6 kilometers. Erangel 8 by 8. It is the same as Miramar, technically, as Miramar is also 8 by 8. The difference is Miramar is over 80% land, where in Erangel that's only about around 60% land. There's a lot more water in Erangel, and so there's a lot less of land to drive the vehicles on, to proceed on foot, and so that gives it this kind of illusion that it's a smaller map. Technically, it's not the smaller map, but really, it kind of is because of how less land mass there is. And so when you come into Erangel, you're going to kind of play it in a way that's a bit more similar to Vikendi than anything else. I mean, the other maps, well, there's like Sandhook, it's not in the rotation, but Miramar is quite different because while it might be also 8 by 8 kilometers, it's very open. Unlike Erangel, which once again has trees, lots of shrubs, lots of structures as well, buildings and houses spread throughout. You can be out in the open of a field, and you're going to find some small hut there at least. Such things aren't as common in Miramar. You might find a rock here, a small boulder to hide behind, but if anything else, Miramar is quite open as compared to Erangel, which once again they're both 8 kilometers wide, but not really in terms of like how much land mass there necessarily is here. And so in Erangel, I mean, of course, dropping in a position that is strategically good, not in terms of just like loot density. Forget that, okay? Because you're gonna find loot wherever you go, pretty much. But in terms of like where it's positioned in the map and the terrain surrounding it, isn't necessarily as important. Of course, it's still very important, but it's not as important as it might have been on Miramar, considering Miramar is just so open and you have 16 teams. So if you go down with a duo, you're left alone with a man. And with Miramar, once again, as we talked about this in the first week, where if you're a duo, you can't really commit a guy to necessarily push out for reconnaissance, for information, and that's very important in Miramar. In Erangel, not as much. Still, of course, it comes into play, but not necessarily as much. And so I'm really excited to see what these teams are going to start to employ coming on our very final map here in the National Finals.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of strategies that can be employed here, and because of the difference in terms of layout of the land, so to speak, between the other maps, Erangel, I think, is the most balanced. You got a lot of things that you can actually try out here that can really just work out for you because of how Erangel was designed. One of the other things here is you're talking about how Erangel feels like a smaller map just because there's a lot of water, and that actually comes into play, especially in Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the zone. Lots of teams will actually just go straight into the water, look for a vehicle there, and use the boat to kind of just like maneuver around. And because there are areas in Erangel that come out from the outer portions of the island to the inner, especially from Georgia Paul entrance, you can use that to your advantage. Granted, it's a little bit risky, but you can use it nonetheless to kind of find some angles as well as some entrances and maybe positionings that you might have not be able to do if you were on such a vehicles, land vehicles, so to say. But in any case, definitely viable option is to go use these aquatic boats for you to be able to maneuver across the land. And one thing that we have seen in the past is a lot of these teams actually want to go immediately for Sosnovka military base. 2, maybe even 3 duos are going to be playing on U-Belt, are going to be playing on the radar station, whichever, just to get that really sweet loot and military base. We'll have to see if somebody will try to go for that. Again, it's very risky, but the reward and the loot there is very, very worth the risk. But the thing now is, because this is the last one, and again, the points have been sort of settled, we might see a bit more of these teams that play very defensive now flip the switch and go aggressive and just kind of, no holds barred anymore. We don't care what's gonna happen. We're just here to have fun and ruin some of the other duos' lives. Well, not really in real life, but just in this particular tournament, because like you said, they are friends in real life. They know each other. They've enjoyed playing together, and this is all just in good fun, guys. So don't worry. There's nobody who's gonna be hurt after this tournament. We all are just here to have fun.
Definitely, for sure, not that we know of, but.
In
Erangel, at least, there's, I think, even more so, don't quote me on this, perhaps somebody will because I said that, but there is lots of more, like, really big cities. There's still, like, around the same amount of buildings total, I guess, as, like, Vikendi and the such, but in Erangel, a lot of them are quite large, and of course, school at the very middle of it is like the proving ground, who has a quicker draw. But we're finally ready to get into map number 3, our final map here in the National Grand Finals, Erangel. Let's kick it off. Now, map number 3 coming underway. NRX are firmly seated in the second place slot here, but we're going to see how that continues to progress on. Very, very, very much so in the lead, and it's quite a hill to climb for anybody to even try and get remove them rather from the first place slot with just a single map remaining. But we're going to see how that is going to turn out for the teams here as the match finally starts. There's your trajectory, ladies and gentlemen, from the southeast up to the northwest.
Yeah, it's just gonna be another split on the map. Lots of options for our teams to, kind of choose your own poison on when you want to drop. And that's all we can really go for. Now, coming into their close left already is immediately military base. And that's something that one of these teams, one of these duos might want to cop at the very beginning of this game. And it seems like Zen Pro, as well as Aether, Team Aether, want to get that. Either that or Nova Hypnoia, either or is really good. This particular bottom island, southern island in Erangel, it's chock full of items. Now, next to drop to Team Aether there is actually NRX. They're not gonna follow Aether into the known on the southern side. They're actually just gonna drop straight onto Milta. But this just means that there's a possibility after they loot Milta, they're gonna go for that bridge troll and guard the bridge on the right side of military base and maybe take out Team Aether, which also gotta take note that they have the ability to go to the other side, or even, like I said in before the game started, get that the aquatic vehicles and just not go over the bridge whatsoever. But we'll see how that strategy pans out, as now we're seeing Top Guns out here in prison.
Well, the Aether duo, they decided to go for the Novorepnoi landing here at the Sosnovka military base, and so, well, I mean, the Sosnovka island in general, and that's going to allow them to freely loot the entire southern island of Sosnovka freely. Now, if they do take the closest bridge back into the mainland here of Erangel, they're gonna have to come across Milta if they don't bank immediately on the road moving westward. And so, if they decide to cross that bridge, NRX are right on the other side of it, and we might have an early duo coming in here by both of the top two teams here in our here in Pubg Mobile for the Battle of Heroes. And so, we might have early engagements coming in, but for now, it seems like that will not happen as of yet. Trisha Potato, she is going to be all alone once again, joining in here. Her teammate on Potato Chuck seems to have been chucked out of the game, and it's only going to be 7 teams now here in our final map. She's closer towards Pachinki, and there's lots of loot there, but she doesn't necessarily have to worry about that in the first place, considering she was all alone. What she has to worry about, though, is trying to separate any engagements that might come her way. Try to avoid it, perhaps, until one of the final circles. So, WaSec Republic here. They are quite empty in terms of firepower and weaponry, so they're able to find the vehicle, at least, the sedan, able to bring them closer to where they might want to be and try to get the loot. As Brand Pow Pow and the Double Republic, they were, I believe, like the third duo to go down on Miramar, and so let's see if they're going to be able to progress on a bit further here in map number 3.
Something, I don't know, kind of cathartic when you're playing on Erangel compared to any other map there. Granted, every Battle Royale game you play is going to be chock full of tension, but there is something very relaxing going back to the OG. Like, everything you see is very familiar to you. You kind of have sniffed, have checked, have experienced every nook and cranny that Erangel has to offer here. And like I said, in terms of rotation, you can see already Team Aether has rotated on the left bridge. So if ever we do see somebody like NRX try to, gatekeep them, it's not going to happen anymore, because Team Aether is maybe have gone and sniffed the plan out NRX was trying to employ. That, and the zone is about to close as well, so we're going to be seeing the next zone in just a little bit. But hold that thought, Danfox, wait, no, he spotted him, and okay then, this is Zenpro coming into the rescue. This is a 2 versus 1. Danfox in a really good position, as now Zenpro is in a pretty bad spot. He's going to be able to try to get his teammate up. If Danfox has a grenade, maybe he can stop this revive, and this could be it. Danfox doesn't even know that Zenpro is going to try to get his teammate right back up. It's now into a 2 versus 1. He's trying to bait them out, and the heal is going to be coming out from Zinza or from Aether once again. Without the help of Papa P, it's going to be another risky battle for Danfox, and that could have been such a good play. And NRX takes a big slap to the face. Where's Papa B TV? He gets taken out way out into the open, and the first victim of our third map. It could have been Team Aether, but with good communication and bad, I would say, punishment from NRX, it's gonna be NRX to take the bullet and just leave the server straight up here.
Unfortunate situation rather for NRX. They had such a good position to try and deny them and intercept them coming into Milta. But at the end of it, with Zenpro able to revive Zinchao, if Danfox was, if he swung that wide a few seconds earlier, like right after he got right after Zinchao was revived, he could have probably downed Zenpro with his spray, as Zenpro was still on the move to try and get to a better position, and then flicked on over to the already quite low Zinchao, but at the end of it, not able to come out. They're going to drive right past Team Top GUNZ here. Team Top GUNZ gonna let them go on their merry way, not wanting to necessarily try and stop this from happening. And they know, like, okay, let's try and play for our life here. Let's try and play the time and try and dry the clock out before anything else goes on. 9 players still here in the game, and so we still have quite a bit the amount of firefights coming in. But man, just what an early engagement between our top 2 teams. I think looking into that originally, Dan Fox and Papa B had the upper hand here for NRX, as they were Aether was coming into their own town. They're coming into Milta. At the end of it, though, Papa B not in the proper position to help his teammate out either, and so Dan Fox, he had to go through it alone, not able to make the right play, and in the end, Zenpro and Zinchao come away with that double kill for them.
It seems like Aether here are just kind of playing around the joyride. One of the funnest maps to try to just kind of ride around is definitely going to be, Ergo, just because you can do so many stacks like that, where you kind of flip around on a motorcycle, go to these ledges, and just kind of ride around. You know, it goes back to that saying, live to die or live to ride and ride to live. And Zentros is kind of having time of his life, but also waiting for somebody to try to get the pop-up shots out of him. And the thing with Zentro is he doesn't have the best items just yet. So spawning out that care package plane and dropping the care package is definitely something that we'll see Team Aether get into it once again. Just waiting in how they can make it work. How they can just try to make it clear out the server, because now Black and Blue, we've started this game, I would say fairly strong. Looking into it, we're just down to just 9 players, 2 duos already, and that just means that we have very few who can maybe match up Team Aether here. I know that sounds like we're talking about Team Aether so much, but it just goes to show, and it kind of is, that Team Aether have been dominating this entire tournament without much contest. Maybe it's the beginning, you know, when NRX still had like an AA, but after that, it is once again dare I say it, Team Aether show.
Yeah, Team NRX, they did go down first and foremost between these top teams, and so Team Aether, as we are talking about them a lot, but they definitely do deserve it. Trisha Pacheco is actually being chased down here by Zen Pro Gaming, and a bit of destruction derby. I love to see it! Some Mad Max action! He helps out, he dismounts, shotgun in hand, letting the shots ring out to Trisha Potato. He's taken down to half her health, but he's able to escape for now. He's going to retreat back into his buggy, and he's going to take the Jeep to try and chase her down. Trisha Potato driving for her life here on the high road, and so Trisha Potato, I think she's going to be able to escape for now. If Zinchao, he's on the motorbike, and so he can potentially flank her out to try and cut her off. He gets caught on the rock, though, and that's going to halt him. And Trisha Potato, he was able to firstly put ample distance between her, but Zenpro, hot on her heels, his vehicle's made for this, for going off the road, and you can see it here. He's serpentining his way closer to Trisha Potato. He's going to try and block her off, try and get her spun around here as they're on the chase. And this is some of the most exciting things I've seen in PUBG in a while.
That's what I'm talking about, man. What kind of tactics are we going to be seeing? How is the Dacia the slower vehicle than this one? Did they pop a tire somewhere in Trisha Potato's vehicle? I don't know. And now Team Aether, or Aether himself, has gone on the ride, and oh no, they're trying to stop her in their tracks. And Trisha Potato just trying to run around there. It's going to explode on the vehicle. And Trisha Potato has been squashed, turned into mashed potato. Oh yeah, but that was incredible to watch. It kind of got stretched out more than it should be, but Trisha Potato, you gotta give it to her. Great driving skills to stop the 2 assailants that were trying to turn her potato into a mashed one.
She definitely got baked there, Trisha Potato, and so Team Aether mercilessly riding her down, and they do eventually get the frag. That was quite entertaining, only a type of play you would get to see here by tuning into the Creator Games Battle of Heroes, guys. Look at that. Share and like them, of course, to get even more people here. It is the final moment. And if we're going to have more entertaining plays like that, we would like to get everybody who can view these games, who can see it, to be able to witness such great excellency. And what a sequence of events. That is one to clip. Clip it and ship it, boys. Now, WaSec Republic here. They're going to be waiting right across where Zinchao is, driving right past. Still quite a bit of a ways away, so I don't think they're going to get spotted out, especially with what you see. Taking a bit of a Overwatch position here. He is going to provide some cover for CS, JN. That's going to be WaSec Republic. Do not be mistaken, as he moves up further into this compound and try to clear it. It's going to be the point man for now, and he does have a frying pan on his lower back. So perhaps he can try and parry any shots coming his way.
Maybe, just maybe. We'll see him do just that. Team WaSec still is not out of the equation just yet. Maybe maybe they can at least get themselves a third place at the end of the day. Still a very respectable placement if they can do just that particular. Now, this area that they are in is right outside Rojok, if I'm not mistaken. Nobody is actually near their vicinity here, which is at least good in their regard because they still haven't gotten the goodness of loots just yet. And yeah, for now we're just down to 4 more teams. Actually, 4 more teams to remain. That just leaves us with 3 more teams for Team Aether to try to deal with. And again, maybe somebody from these 3 remaining teams can stick it to Aether and stop them in their tracks, but at least for now, we haven't seen anybody be close to doing just that.
Well, Zempro rather, is making a beeline here directly for Team Top Guns. He spotted out another vehicle. We might just get more Mad Max action. This is why I told you guys if you like and share the stream. He entirely just runs over U Gaming, and U Gaming goes down here to the vehicle of Zempro El Clasico. What a nice skin to have, quite aptly here for these very fun events. And he has another target in his sight. Desai is going to start shooting at him, and Zempro is taking a bit of damage here. About 60% of his health gone, but he does have a shotgun. He's going to get crossed up, and Desai is going to finish him off. But does conk off of the frying pan there, and Desai able to take down the first half of Aether Gaming here. The Aether duo, rather. And so
shotgun.
his teammate is still up. You can hear in the chat, I think it's Zempro talking, "Di ko matamaan ng shotgun." It means he couldn't hit him with a shotgun up close. Whiffing his shots into Desai, able to walk away with that at the end of the day unscathed.
Kasalanan to ng viewers ko eh. Ayoko dyan, yung ka dyan, man. Papasok dyan.
Like, we can see them like chatting around.
Kasalanan to ng ano eh. Kasalanan to ng mga nagsabi sa akin na mag-shotgun eh.
Oh, so apparently Zempro was taking on a challenge to use a shotgun. So he's now blaming the fans and viewers. Of course, in jest, it's a joke. Just having a bit of fun. Now Xin Xiao, he is going to be the last one here for Aether, and he knows Desai has kind of, well, seated herself inside this bunker. He's going to hold one of the exits of that, and there's another exit of this bunker on the face of the hill, directly to his northeast. And so, if Desai can find her way out, perhaps she can get out of this sticky situation.
I don't think Desai actually had the time to loot either Aether or her own fallen teammate, U Gaming there. So maybe, just maybe, she doesn't have enough firepower to deal with Zinzo. Now the thing is here, Zinzo is still looking. Oh, he's gonna block the doorway here, maybe? Yeah, he is. And he's gonna explode the vehicle. So that Desai cannot get out. Yeah, it's a very smart decision. So that means that Desai will be forced to just go on to that one exit, and all Aether has to do is to go to the other exit, wait for Desai, because Desai sooner or later has to get out of there, especially when the safe zone is not in favor of the tunnels, or in the shelter rather. So this means that Desai is gonna be literally a spud underground, or rather a rock underneath the earth. So she gotta be careful. She heard a couple of explosions, but maybe she hasn't figured out that that is the plan of Aether here. And yeah, Desai is still holding an angle, hoping that Aether will come to her sights, but that's not gonna happen. Leaving us now with 6 players remaining. Oh! He blocked the pathway. He blocked it. He's blocking everything.
He's so smart, right? He just blocked off the angle that Desai would have used to escape here, and Xin Xiao, he's finally able to. Well, he blocked himself in, but he's able to escape. Perhaps if Desai wants to escape from that, then that's going to be a bit of a hurdle for it to go over. But he's taking another buggy here to try and wrap around. He knows there's another entrance in here into the bunker, and I believe he's going to try and block that one off as well. Desai still here in the bunker, waiting so patiently. He's not going to leave for now, as Circle has not forced her out of it yet.
He is blocking every path, and production observer, please when the zone closes, even if there's action, I want to see what happens to Sai. I seriously want to see what happens. If that's okay, like I want to see how she reacts to the basically trapping herself into the tunnels here, and she's gonna try to look for an exit out now, and she might just be a little bit bored in the tunnel. And we'll see if there's enough blockage everywhere. Because I believe in the shelter there's 3 or 4 exits. Yeah, like I can hear even the chat, or I believe that's Aether or Zenpro is talking. It's saying that he's trapped Tisai already, and Tisai is trying to figure out if somebody's in the shelter. Well, good, great thing. There's nobody there with her, but the bad thing is she might not have any way to get out. Oh wait, maybe this one? Maybe this one? Look out! I want to see. I want to see. Come on. Look out into the corner. He's just waiting. All right, Black and Blue. I'll leave this to you, man.
Bit of an antsy turn of events there, but she's able to hold on to it for now. What you see, he is once again going to be the sole member here for WaSec Republic to push on as Tisai. She's going to try and make her way out. Fortunately for her, Zinchao is holding the opposite entrance, and so she might be able to seek her way out of this if she can hop her way through, and she eventually does. She makes it out! Good job, congratulations. Now, she has another problem at hand. How do I escape the trap that was initially placed? Well, she does go through that. She knows that Zinchao is going to be on the hunt for her, and so she has to try and proceed quite carefully. Now, Team WaSec Republic, they are still up and ready to get this going. You can see there, Team DD with Red Pap out of the Double Republic, still alive into this, and some shots ringing out. Tisai, he's putting some shots down the direction there of Zinchao. As the fight goes on, nobody getting downed yet. I think they're just taking some pot shots at each other. Team DD firmly in the circle. They're just going to wait for the fight to come to them. But Tisai is going to go down as Zinchao does find the final frag. You can hear him laughing in the background. Zinchao. Great play by him. Initially trapped Tisai. Unfortunately, she was able to escape Zenpro at the initial engagement, but at the end, his teammate was able to get a bit of some revenge here. Vengeance is his.
He's gonna be able to get himself a good chunk of loot. Zone is right behind him. He's not in the safe zone just yet, but I mean, he's got a very fast motorbike with him, so he's gonna be able to traverse the plains of Erangel very quickly. Now, looking into it, we do have. So we do have 3 duos remaining, and this is going to be a 2v2v1 where Aether is the last man for Team Aether. So this could still be anybody's map to win. We still do have, I believe, Team WaSec as well as the one we're looking at right now, Team Double D. And it could very much well happen that they could overwhelm Aether. But I'm also curious to see if Aether has the chops to deal with multiple targets by his lone. So we've seen him do incredibly well, but that was with Zenpro in tow. But now with this one, maybe he can also do it just to show how good he is as a player. There is a bunch of people rotating outside of the zone here, and Aether might actually spot them out. A couple of pop shots. Yeah, he spotted them out. It's gonna be a 2 versus 1, and let's see him jiggle through the boulder here. Aether takes a bit of damage, and he actually gets knocked out. What to see though is very low. Is he going to be able to reach the end of the zone before getting knocked out? He does. And Aether, I was asking that question. He was not able to live up to the 1v2s, but he does at least secure 3rd for Team Aether.
At least, diba? Mapagbigay kami.
Well, Team Aether definitely very dominant so far and doesn't seem to be holding off on the slightest. Team DD here, still waiting so patiently. They did get 2 kills earlier on, but after then, they've just been waiting here inside Milta, where the initial firefights began, mind you, by NRX and by Team Aether, and so we're actually back where we started here, towards Melta.
Yeah. I wonder how this is going to be panning out now. Team Double B hasn't really shown much, well, their figurative fangs for the entire tournament. And now that they have a chance to go up against a slightly, a different team here, different duo, maybe they got the chops to get that winner chicken dinner, at least for once. We do love ourselves our chicken dinner, guys, be it roasted, be it fried, be it microwave. I don't know if somebody's crazy enough to do that, but how about you, Black and Blue? How do you like your chicken served to you?
I love a good, nicely salted, nicely seasoned grilled chicken breast. The healthy way is how I like to eat it. And so, what you're going to see, some not so healthy plays coming in here from both these teams, as well, bullets are kind of dangerous for your health, to be blunt. And so, as WaSec Republic have made their way into the circle here on the Melta power plant, seems like they're going to be taking the high ground instead, and I like what they're doing here. Okay, they're taking the safe route. Nobody's going to really expect them to wrap around through the rocks, so nobody's really going to try and cut them off or intercept such a unprecedented route of attack. Double Republic, he's just having fun. He's just, he's doing a bit of a driver's ed right now, trying to practice his driving skills in through the hoop, out through the hole. Just gonna see, scouting the area around him. He's not gonna find anything for now. Although, yes, WaSec, they are close into it, and there's only two teams left now here. That's gonna be the two duos of Team DD and WaSec Republic. We're gonna see who is gonna come out on top to be crowned the chicken dinner big winner of our map number 3.
They're really kind of pushing this to at least for as long as they can. Team DD is playing the much defensive, just try to get as much information around the map as possible. They've kind of split themselves apart, but they're going to be very easily able to traverse back together because there is a vehicle for a Double Republic, so he can go to where his teammate is. They should know that their opponents will be coming onto the kind of our side of the power plant as Watusi and WaSec Republic start to move in here onto the site. Now, they haven't spotted each other yet, but Double Republic has a really great spot, has good scope, and a good weapon to start bringing the pain from such a far distance. Although this big silo is kind of blocking his vision, a good chunk of his vision, mind you that. And maybe they can just sneak through his crosshairs here and get the one-up, and maybe even catch his teammate unawares. But we'll just have to see how this kind of how this unfolds, as our zone is about to get smaller once again.
Now, closing in here on the Melta power plant once again, a Double Republic. He's swerving in and through the sightlines that he's provided himself with the Jeep here. And so, playing around this boulder, it is a good spot to play actually, because he cannot be flanked from behind. It is entirely a cliff with a sea then throughout. And so, a Double Republic might just spot out Watusi here. Of course, his teammate, Pow Pow, is pushed further in, and he's going to be playing a bit more aggressive. He's going to be the point man to try and find the engagements up close. His teammate, though, here on our Double Republic, going to provide a bit of cover from the high ground. And as the circle closes out, they're going to be split for now, but this might actually work out in their favor, as if WaSec Republic does start the engagement, Team DD are going to be able to retaliate on two separate angles, but scratch that, as they're going to decide to link up now, and they're going to be pushing on from the same angle. I don't know why Bren Pow Pow does not have a weapon out. In this situation, you kind of want to have your rifle already out in case engagements happen, but it seems like he is deciding to go on this unarmed. He does have weapons on his back, yes, but he's not necessarily employing them for use right now.
Yeah, but I mean, at least for now, he doesn't really need to. He's using a Double Republic as his initial scout, and maybe he's gonna transition, or he's gonna react after a Double Republic spots somebody. But it's getting very close for comfort. Bren Pow Pow is using that third-person perspective. We do see WaSec Republic here, the forward scouting. He should be able to hear a lot of the footsteps right into their forward position. So they have a rough idea of where the other duo is. And now they're kind of just peeking out a little bit here. They're still inside the zone. There's not much that you can really say about this one aside from it's just a waiting game. They're gonna just look to see if they can sneak past or sneak into their opponent, get a couple of shots off, and that could be it. But yeah, it's not gonna be the case. Now with the zone gonna become smaller. I don't believe we've actually gone to like a phase 7, phase 8 zone yet, but we might see it here because these two duos are very, very controlled in what they do. And with that, we might be seeing a little bit more of a drawn-out fight here. A couple of pop shots being dished out by Team DD because they are challenging their opponents to come hither, come now, come all.
Seems like this is going to go down to the wire here, my man, and that wire is getting tighter and tighter as the circle closes out. He's going to have to proceed on his belly, it seems like what you see. And now, as the final stages of our national finals come into play, they're going to have to drop on the deck. The engagements are about to start here. Bren Pow Pow is going to give his position away with the shots ringing out here. He's going to almost take down Watching Speed there. Watching Speed, he's going to have to run. He's taking down very low. Not going down yet, but Bren Pow Pow shots back his way. CSJN, that is WaSec Republic, able to provide some covering fire here for his teammate. Now, CSJN, he knows his position has been made now, and he has to buy himself some concealment with the smoke being dropped down here to try and provide them more angles to try and reposition. A Double Republic letting the shots ring out, not doing too much damage in that regard. What you see, while he is downed, it's going to be WaSec still alive here. So what do you see? He's going to get finished off finally by a Double Republic. And now in the 1v2 situation, it's all on the road. And he does find the frag there. A Double Republic pushing out wide. He's able to get the 4K for Team DD. And that's going to be Team DD. Chicken dinner. Big winners here in map number 3. The final map for our national finals here at PUBG Mobile. What a game. That might have been one of, if not the most entertaining game we've had throughout this entire national level, my man, for PUBG Mobile. What do you think?
I 100% agree with you. This has been the most fun we've seen here because I feel like the teams were already just playing to their heart's content. I mean, from start, middle to finish, there was a lot of action. There was a lot of scenarios that happened. This was NRX getting kicked out of the server immediately as they got spotted. This was the part where Trisha Potato was just going, a la Mad Max, a la Fast and Furious, trying to run over the members of Team Aether. It didn't work, but it was still fun to watch. There's also the part where U Gaming was able to knock out, or Rider was able to knock out, I believe that was Zen Pro, and this was Aether being a bit too antsy, a bit too ballsy in that 2 versus 1. He didn't win it, and then we have this grand finale between Team DD as well as WaSec, and they just, gave us a really good showing here. Lots of nades, lots of utility being pushed out, and this was definitely a match for the ages for our Facebook creator, or for our creator games, Battle of Heroes, PUBG Mobile.
Man, you were entirely on the point. Just from start to finish, with NRX going down early due to the early firefight towards Milta, we ended off with the intense battle by Team DD and Team WaSec at Milta Power plant just a bit to the east of where we started everything all off. We're gonna, I believe, finally announce the winners for the top 2 duos, who will then regroup next week to represent the Philippines. But before that, guys, before the big announcement, we're going to shout out the qualifying teams from the other countries. Let's kick it off. For Malaysia, their champions are going to be Team STP and Bosker. Runner-ups are going to be Team Lontong. For Taiwan, the champions is going to be Team Y Spider, number 2. And the runner-up is going to be Team Y Spider. They got both, I think they're a clan, and they're both in the tournament. For Indonesia, the champions are going to be Team TNS, and the runner-ups will be Team Anak, Hobogan Gelap, and Team Akbar. Now, for Vietnam, the champions... I don't even know how to pronounce that, dude. I'm sorry if I'm going to butcher it, guys. I'm trying my best. Team Kodon, and the runner-ups will be Team Shu Nuns. I hope I didn't butcher that. You know, I love you guys for sure. It's just my own ignorance. Team for Thailand, of course, not last but not the least, their champions. I love this name. Team Teletubbies. I hope to see them next week. And the runner-up, Team Gods. And now, we are going to announce later on the top 2 duos once again that did finally qualify for our regional finals next week and the week after that. We have 2 more weeks, guys, here in the Creator Games Battle of Heroes. Is going to finish all off on July 26th. So do not go anywhere, guys, as we do have those announcements to come up, as well as an interview with one of the players. I believe, can we announce who the player is? Perhaps... yeah, okay, let's just say it. It's Zempro, okay? We're going to get the top fragger, one of the top fraggers that we had in this entire tournament in our game in just a bit. But for now, as we wait for things to get up, we're gonna try and talk about everything that we've everything that we've seen from this entire national finals and the weeks prior, man. What a turn of events for the storylines that had happened at the first engagement, at the first week rather of this whole tournament. There was a storyline going around where, like, is it NRX? Is it Team Aether? After those first 2 maps, who is really the best team? After week number 1, it seems like Team Aether was kicked down just a notch as Team NRX were able to take weekend number 1 in their favor. They took map 2 and 3, and map 3 was taken very handily by Team NRX in the first week. But coming up into the following weeks, last week and this week, Team Aether just seemed to have reached another level and just stormed through most of the teams here. And man, I don't know what else to expect considering we had such entertaining turn of events, but I'm for sure cannot express enough the fact that coming to the regional finals, where we're going to actually be vying for who's going to be the grand champion of Asia entirely, that's gonna bring even more storylines into the fold.
Yeah, there's much that Team Aether was able to do. I think it was more of, Zen Pro and Aether themselves still adjusting with each other. You saw how kind of robotic their movements were on the first weekend that we played, but like you said, in the following weekends, they just started to kind of mesh more and more together as a cohesive unit. Aside from that, I'm definitely looking forward to the caliber of games we'll be looking at in the regional finals, where a lot of the representatives here will be the best of the best coming out from all of the countries that have joined in this Creator Games Battle of Heroes. So it's definitely something to look out forward to, rather. Though, if I would put my piece up there, I would say that at least in terms of regions that I've known are very strong in mobile shooters, I might give it to Indonesia and Thailand. But of course, there could always be someone who one-ups it. And I'm, like you said, I'm just looking forward to the stories that will unfold before our eyes in the following weeks. For the regional finals, and we are just, of course, waiting for our interview with the champion of our national finals. Believe it is gonna be Zen Pro. So we did have him last week. He was just having fun, and I want to ask him a couple of questions. But before that, we're gonna be showing the scores tallied already. So, hypothetical drum roll. So Black and Blue. Take it away.
There, me matching my keyboard. Team Aether, yes, they're going to be at the top of it with Team NRX right below. These are going to be your two teams that will be moving on into the championship stage. Let's officially announce it for the second place, the first runner-up. Drum roll, please. Match my keyboard as a drum roll. Got into it. Second place, Creator Games Battle of Heroes. The first runner-up, or rather the second place, is going to be Team NRX here with Dan Fox Gaming and Papa B. We're going to see them to represent the regional finals. And guys, here is the announcement we've all been waiting for. Who is the champions? And it's going to be Team Aether. Congratulations to them. Zen Pro Gaming and Aether Esports are going to be your national champions here for the Philippines Regional Finals Creator Games Battle of Heroes. What an insane duo, these guys. What an insane, confident, destructive path these people have laid down in just taking very firmly the national champion slot. They do.
Yeah,
take
these
the crown.
guys were just. I'm sorry. These guys, I just wanted to say, were very much unstoppable this entire tournament. They basically made a kind of demo highlight reel for us to kind of just, start clipping and just, creating videos for them. Anyways, we're going to have an interview with Zen Pro in just a couple of seconds. So Black and Blue, I'll let you start with the questions, and I'll have some of my own as well, later on in the interview. So yeah.
Yeah, so hey, how are you doing there, my man Zen Pro? Glad to have you back. How are you doing?
I'm finally relieved.
Man, wait, I have to ask this first and foremost. Did you know that you were, for at least the second half of Erangel, the last map, did you know that you could be heard on stream? Alam mo ba yun?
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know until my teammate died, and then I checked the stream. I was like, holy shit, I was.
because when you were at that, we heard, and confirm if this is true based on what we heard on what you were saying, that I think your viewers were challenging you to go like shotgun only or something. That's why you're playing really close to Tesai and whoever you come against.
No, I think I just got really unlucky with my loot.
I guess so. Asurai, anything you want to ask here to our national champion?
So, I mean, there's not much, just congratulations to you guys and good luck to the regional finals. I just wanted to ask, so it seems like you're going to be playing with Team NRX as a full squad. I just wanted to ask if you guys have played with each other before, and, since you have, Black and Blake, a week to prepare, do you think that that's enough time for you guys to become a good enough team to be able to take first place? Again, this is just me kind of wanting to ask, and I wanted to see what your thoughts are, because obviously a lot of the fans will be looking forward to you guys representing Philippines, for the regional finals.
Well, I've played with Dan for quite a while already, so I think we would be able to sing good enough to beat maybe the good enough teams. But I think I hope we could beat Thailand. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, man, if there's anybody here to represent the Philippines for the creative Games Battle of Heroes at the regional finals. I think you guys at Aether Gaming, you Zempro and Aether Esports, you guys are definitely the duo to lead that charge in along with NRX. So once again, congratulations to you guys. I hope to see you next week. Thanks for joining us for this interview. Before anything else, you want to shout out anybody or anything out there?
Shouts sa mga viewers ko, shouts to Rumble Real, shouts sa Axe. Axe lang malakas.
All right, man. We're going to see you next week, hopefully. Thank you so much for joining us in our interview again. And once again, congratulations. Guys, just great plays that we saw throughout today. I cannot believe that last map, how fun that was to watch and to cast. That was some of the most entertaining PUBG I have seen in quite a while. And I think Asarai could vouch in for that. That was... From the car chase scene, you know, it's like an action movie. From the car chase scene, you got the car chase scene, you got the suspense, you got the stealth section, you know, then you got the up close hand-to-hand brawls. It was like an action movie that we pretty much got here in our very final map. What a map to close it off, although the tried and true tested Erangel. And it's just so aptly, I just love how it happens on our very final map here in the national level. Great things to see. Of course, guys, next week we do have the regional finals to come up with. So we're going to be back with more next week. But once again, there are your champions, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be Aether Esports and Zempro. And the next runner-ups is going to be the NRX duo.
Yeah. So, you know, this is a Sunday, guys. We've already ended the stream. So I just wanted to tell you guys to enjoy and, you know, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Play video games. It's the best thing to do right now, especially that we can't really do much in these times. In any case, we will be seeing you when we see you guys on the next one. So Black and Blue, if you want to, you know, take us out, just wanted to thank you, man. It's been a pleasure casting with you, and hope to do it once again.
Man, I'm for sure we're gonna cast some other games soon too. It's been a pleasure working with you and the entire team behind this entire broadcast. Thank you to Facebook Gaming for obviously hosting this entire Creator Games Battle of Heroes, guys. If you want more information, once again, the jerseys too that you guys sent, of course, I don't forget about that. If you guys want more information, please do check out the Facebook Gaming page, the official one. You should know which it is, and the official tournament website at Facebook at fb.gg/Creator Games 2020. I've been Black and Blue. I still am. And with me has been Asarai. We're going to see you guys back hopefully next week with the regional finals. Tune in next time, guys. It's been a pleasure. Peace out for now.
Hi guys, this is Alodia.
Mình là DC36 Gaming.
Ini adalah Jessica Jelly.
Posisi ganteng gamer.
Battleofheroes.
Hero.
นี่คือทัวร์นาเมนต์แบบออนไลน์
You have been waiting for.
聚集了最精锐的 yang paling terbuka
Facebook Creator.
展拓 Asia Pacific.
The stage is set.
Janji si Wan Hồng.
Tuntun kami sang dewek mình.
From June 20,
Hanggang July 26.
2020.
Chỉ có tại
Facebook Gaming.
Facebook game
Facebook Gaming.
Facebook Gaming.
Facebook Gaming.